Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that?
All right, Joseph. It's that time.
It is that time.
Podcast. It's that time where time may be different for you, a little different. We acknowledge our differences when it comes to time. But we could all agree on one thing. It is night.
It's nighttime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is the right time for doing this podcast. All right.
Yeah.
It is May 25th.
Yes.
When this podcast is over, it'll probably be May 26th.
Certainly. Absolutely.
So, Joseph, we don't really have any pop culture stuff to talk about this week. I'm pretty sure, I guess it's like a light week, nothing happened. And
right.
This will probably be just like a 5-minute podcast, right?
Yeah. It may not last until tomorrow. It's a weird one. We normally spend the first half hour.
You were supposed to make a joke and be like, "Well, actually," and then you bring up like all the horrible things, and then I'd be
horrible things. Yeah. Normally we talk about pop culture stuff for a little while and then shift into the news.
I did see Everything Everywhere all at once today, which was a great movie.
Yeah.
But I don't want to talk about it since you didn't see it.
Yeah, and I may go see this because
you should go see that, and then we could talk about it afterwards, because I feel like it's I know we talked about Doctor Strange last week. You didn't see it, but you're familiar with the character, obviously. The other Marvel movies, and you're also read up about the movie. So, but this is like it's new, it's a different thing. It's not what it seems, and so we'll save that. It was a good movie, though, if you guys want. I bet the one thing I'll say about it before we move on to everything else about this movie is that the producers of Indiana Jones 5 have to be kicking themselves now for not hiring back. Let me find the guy's name.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Everything. Hold on.
This is an actor that previously appeared in an Indiana Jones property, right?
It's Short Round.
Yeah.
From Temple of Doom. And he was also in Goonies. He was the kid who said booby trap.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
His name is Ki-Hoon Kwan. And he played Short Round. And he hasn't really acted much. I did bring him up a couple of weeks ago when I talked about did a deep retrospective on Pauly Shore's acting career.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I said, I'm just kidding, but you can find that a couple episodes of YSGOAT. You could find it from like maybe a month ago. But what's his face was in that movie? The guy who played Samwise. Potatoes. That guy,
right?
He's also from Goonies.
Yeah, Sean Astin. Yeah.
Potatoes.
He also appears in the video for Corey Feldman's Ascension Millennium, reprising his role from the Goonies.
Really?
He shows up in there for like 5 seconds with a map. Like the whole video is Corey Feldman waking up in a bed filled with like supermodels, as I'm sure he does. And then he goes downstairs and there's a rave in his pool house.
Like, Sean, you owe me.
Yeah, but on his way down, he runs into Sean Astin, who has a treasure map, and he's trying to coax Corey Feldman to go look for Goonie treasure.
But he's too busy.
Yeah,
hang out with those Corey's angels.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that guy though, Ki-Hoon Kwan, was in Encino Man, and I don't think he's in anything else. He never acted really in anything else. And then this is like the first movie. I think he might have done like stunt stuff. I could be wrong. Could look at his IMDb page, but I don't think. Yeah, he was not listed in Indiana Jones 5. Now I think they finished the movie. This is been in like development forever. It's like the woman from Fleabag like supposedly wrote it. I don't know if she stars in it. And we don't really know anything what's about. All we know is that Harrison Ford's like 1,000 years old. he busts his hip. That's the plot. Indiana Jones and the busted hip. But if I was a producer of those movies, I'd be kicking myself right now, especially after this movie came out and how good he's in this movie.
Yeah, I heard he's great.
Yeah, and he would be so good in an Indiana Jones movie because he would bring back that energy, except he's like, it's not a 8-year-old kid anymore.
Nope.
He's like he's like bordering 50, I think.
Yeah, he's got to be like nearing 50.
He's an adult man, like a middle-aged man, but I mean, I guess compared to Harrison Ford, he'd still be a kid.
Sure.
Because there's still like a 35-year difference.
Right.
But I bet you they're kicking themselves. Like they're like, fuck. Because he would just, I think he would be perfect to bring back into Indiana Jones. And I think people would be like, oh yeah, I remember him. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
And I think that happens like all the time sometimes. Like I remember when like Ghostbusters came out and they were like that, not the one from 2016.
Yeah.
They just gave it like a shitty reboot but then it was like terrible.
Right.
And they were probably kicking themselves after they saw Force Awakens. It came out like the movie was coming out in July, but Force Awakens came out 6 months earlier, but the movie was already done. And Force Awakens did what we call like a soft reboot where you continue the story, but you make it part of that universe. And they were like, fuck, we probably should have did that.
That would have been much, much better.
Right. So who knows? Maybe if I was a director or executive working on Indiana Jones 5, I would get that guy, even if he's just in the movie for 5 minutes, I would work him in.
Yeah.
I think that would be a welcoming addition to the movie. It'd be a little bit better than what's his face, who I don't think is going to be in this one. He was in
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
That was the thought at the time, wasn't it, that Shia LaBeouf was supposed to carry the franchise forward?
Well, you find out he's the son. He was Karen Allen. Is that her name?
Yeah, Karen Allen. It's like, was she married to Spielberg?
No, that's the second one.
Kate Capshaw.
One. Yeah.
Kate Cap. You're right.
Second movie that has short round in it.
Yeah. So
that was like the whole entire movie just so screaming.
Yeah. So, but the deal was that the next they were supposed to basically have a soft launch of a new Indiana Jones series starring like Mutt Jones or whatever the guy's name was.
But no one liked it. That movie sucked.
He was terrible. And then shortly after, Shia LaBeouf did some really weird stuff.
He's a weird dude.
Yeah. Oh well. Cool. Yeah, I will check that out. I've heard nothing but great. And the weird thing about this one, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It's an A24 movie. They make like crazy movies, I guess.
Well, everyone I know who likes movies or whatever has had good things to say about it. And it's weird because it's like a weird mix of people, all like people that like
Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, and she's great in it because she's like really dowdy in it. It's just that's the one thing I always liked about her is that she never tried to hide her age. I always appreciate that. Like, she like for years has kept the gray hair. She's like, I don't care. Like, I'm not because she's not trying to pretend to be like, 20 years younger.
Yeah.
I was like kind of appreciate that about her, and she's great in this movie. I forgot the name of the. Hold on. The main woman.
Michelle Yeoh, right?
Yeah, she's like in so much stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, didn't she get her Western start in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
Yeah, and they kind of make a reference to that in this movie.
Okay. Yeah, I know she was in a bunch of stuff before, but
what's his face plays her dad. He's like so old. Lo Pan from Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, okay.
That guy.
Yeah.
Is his name James Wong? I'm like,
I don't know, but I saw Big Trouble in Little China just like 6-7 months ago. I watched it on TV, and I don't know that it held up as well as I thought it would, but it's still a fun movie.
Oh, James Hong. That's it.
Oh, okay.
And he plays the grandpa. The thing I always had about that movie was that it really doesn't pick up until the last third of the movie. It's kind of boring, actually, until you get to that very slow. Third. It's like it really is like this. And I know some people will probably be like, fuck you, man. Fuck you. Big Trouble in China is the best movie ever. Like, they'll go nuts. Like, I'm like, dude, calm the fuck down. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. Just saying the movie is boring as shit for the first 2/3 of the movie. Like there's stuff that happens and there's some fun stuff and some fights and everything like that. But until like they go into the temple, and that's when you start seeing all the magic and all the crazy stuff, and you see the monsters, and you see Lil Pan, and he's like in his true form, and he's got the woman with the green eyes and everything. And that's when everything goes crazy. That last third of the movie is amazing.
Yeah.
It's the last third. The problem is you have to get there.
Well, that's the thing is I started watching it on TV and I was like, man, I don't remember it taking this long to get to where it's awesome.
It's like it's literally just the end of the movie. It's the last act. I mean, it might not even be at the two. I'm being kind, 2/3. More like the last 40.
Yeah, I would say like the last 20 minutes of a
That's when you see the monsters, that weird eye monster. You see like the magic, the lightning, the guy blowing up in the end, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, most of it's just like Kurt Russell just saying dumb shit, like
which is fun by itself, but like knowing that you're going to get to that part makes it hard to enjoy the boring
it's
stuff.
Like a slow 80s movie until you get to that part,
right?
And my son wanted to watch it the other day, and I kind of want to warn him, be like, dude, it's boring for the first like it's 50 minutes. You're going to be like,
it is weird. It's no I think a lot of movies are like that. Like
even They Live. I like They Live, which is also a John Carpenter movie, and which we talked about. About it. I watched it with my son, and he couldn't. He found it boring. It was. I mean, it takes a very long time actually until he gets the glasses.
Yeah,
and it's like.
Well, and like there's that fight scene is like 25 minutes long.
Is hysterical. That fight scene.
It's awesome, but it's a long scene.
Yeah. Like I said. Go ahead.
No, it's a very long scene.
Well, Zizek, who's a philosopher, I saw him. Me and my wife went to something years ago. Thing about like Hollywood perversion. Or whatever, and one of the things he talks about was They Live, and he says that like the fight scene is actually like an amazing, like, you look at the fight and it goes on forever, but really what it's about is like the struggle to change someone's mind or get them on inside. And you can look at it that way and add some intellect behind it. But really what the true reality is that, and I've talked about this in the episode, was that the producers of the movie were like, we got this freaking Mongo wrestler, Roddy Piper, and you haven't done any wrestling moves at all. Get this meathead in there with a fight and have him fight the guy for 20 minutes. That's why we hired him.
They're like, someone was like, look, you're telling me we got Roddy Piper and Richard Roundtree, and there's no fight scene between them.
Like, what Roundtree?
Who?
It was David.
Who was it? Oh shoot, you're right.
And Roddy Piper. Yeah, and then like, and it's so obvious that they made him do wrestling stuff because he literally does a wrestling move in the end. He does a finishing move on him in the end.
And it was weird too. Like he changed into a kilt halfway through, which was
it was weird.
Bizarre.
And Cowboy Bob Orton showed up with his
he's beating him with bagpipes. Like,
you're in the Piper's pit now. I thought that was an odd.
Very
that kind of took the movie out of the movie a little bit.
Tonally dissonant.
Coco Beware showed up with his parrot.
The Iron Sheik, the great Kabuki.
The Russian guy started doing the national anthem, and everyone was booing. All right. Well, we said we were going to talk about pop culture, but we went on a
pop
culture whirlwind. Okay, what are we talking about this week, Joseph? I'm sure nothing big happened.
Well, the big thing that we're talking about is the school. It seems even weird to describe it as a school shooting. It was like a school massacre. It was a mass shooting at an elementary school that happened. Did this happen yesterday?
Yeah.
It
happened literally yesterday.
So
it was like the end of school too.
It was they had
elementary school filled with small children massacred. Now, I mean, we just had a massive shooting like 2 weeks ago, not even like that supermarket. I mean, but like, I don't think we've had anything like this since like
Parkland was the
last. Parkland was a high school.
They've
mostly been always high schools. Sandy Hook.
And that was like 20 years ago, was it? I mean, it's a while
ago. It was over a decade ago. It was 2011 or 12.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. You're right. It was an elementary school. It was the last day of school. And it was just brutal. I mean, it was. So we're going to talk about that. That's probably most of what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about Beto O'Rourke responded today.
He's running for governor.
Yep. And
we'll talk about that. He showed up at
a press conference, at Greg Abbott's press conference.
Good. I'm glad he did it.
Yeah, I'm 100% glad he did it. Some people have mixed feelings, but we'll talk about that.
You know what we have to say about those people?
Yeah, fuck them.
Go cry about it. Go cry. Go fuck off.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more when it comes. We're talking a little bit about the primary results that occurred the last day or so. We're talking about
what was it? Georgia and the other states?
Well, Georgia,
Texas. You said
Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Arkansas, and Idaho.
Idaho, wasn't that last week?
No, the governor of Idaho beat the lieutenant governor of Idaho.
Did Dr. Ott, did they ever figure out the Pennsylvania?
I think it's going to go to a runoff I just read about this. I
can't believe that clown is still in contention.
Yeah. No, they're going to recount. They're going to do a recount. So they're only separated by 1,000 votes or something. I mean, it's a very, very slim margin. I don't know. I just think it's hilarious that now both of these pro-Trump Republicans are accusing each other of election fraud, which is just hilarious.
Oh, Republicans accusing each other?
Yeah. So
I'm shocked. I'm shocked at all by that.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Seth Greene and his missing NFT, which is pretty funny.
That is very funny. It's funny because it's Seth Greene, and we'll get into that. Because it's basically his NFT was stolen, and because of that, a cartoon can't get me.
It's so bizarre. It's
dumb. It's super dumb. We'll save it for.
Okay. And we're talking about Bill Maher and his ongoing slide into conservatism, or what? Bill Maher,
right-wing grifting.
Yep. And then we're going to talk about Elon Musk and Bitcoin. I'll talk about that. That'll wrap up the show. That's a full slate, so that's what's on tap for tonight.
So there was another school shooting.
Yes.
This is so disgusting. So this happened in Uvalde.
Yeah, I didn't realize this, but this is where Matthew McConaughey was born, Uvalde.
Did he have to say anything?
I didn't realize. I looked up Uvalde.
Is he such a centrist sap that he won't say anything?
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't say anything about it, or if he did or didn't. It's weird though, but he's from there. A surprisingly large number of famous people were born in there.
Not far from El Paso, right? I mean, it's not close, but it's not.
It's near El Paso, San Antonio. It's way in the west part of the state. A lot of my family contacted me and said, is this anywhere near you? And it isn't. I mean, it's like a day's drive. I mean, it might as well be in Arkansas, as far as geographically.
So basically, some kid, turned 18, acquired weapons, literally 2 days ago. Had tactical gear. Showed up at the school. Well, supposedly shot his grandma in the face first.
Yeah.
Showed up at the school. Why an elementary school? I don't even understand. Did he go to that elementary school?
I don't know.
High school near in the same district?
He texted people that he's going to shoot his grandmother and then go shoot up an elementary school. And that's exactly what he did. And from what I understand.
Yeah, it's just insane. So supposedly the cops there was a small shootout or whatever.
Yeah.
And the guy got 2 of them, or supposedly, I don't even know if and the cops basically waited there for backup and let this guy go into the school.
Yeah.
And murder kids, and the kid was in there for an hour until what do you call it, border patrol guy was able to clip him in the end.
Well, yeah, and let me preface this all by saying that this did happen very recently. This happened yesterday.
Yeah.
And we don't know all the facts yet. Like I think that the stuff that we're talking about now is going to turn out to be established. But some of this is a little unclear, to be honest.
Supposedly it's been established that the cops really let this guy go into the school and supposedly they claimed one of the reasons why they wouldn't go after him or something like that was because he had fentanyl on it.
Oh God.
It's just like I talked about this in the podcast before.
Yeah.
The bizarre obsession and fear mongering that cops have of fentanyl.
Yeah.
And
that's
they have to get like, go ahead. What?
No, that's a real thing. And I was going to bring this. Well,
a real thing. You mean like it's a real threat, or it's
a real thing that there's like a coordinated effort amongst some people to blame everything on fentanyl. Like I'm really getting
a lot in the cops. It's in Texas, and it's a lot. You hear it all over the country. Like I remember getting before I moved out of the state, getting like a call like for election, whatever, and the guy's like, "Vote for me for sheriff, whatever, and I will stop the problem of fentanyl."
Well, ever since you mentioned that, I've seen that everywhere, because I commented today, and I'll get into it more later, about Beto confronting Greg Abbott, and I said that Greg Abbott looked impotent and weak. That was what Beto did, is made Greg Abbott look weak. And this jackass on Twitter responded, "I don't see Beto or Joe or Kamala crying any crocodile tears for the 1,685 and for the 100 and some thousand Americans who died of fentanyl ODs last year."
Are you serious?
That are coming from the southern border every day.
Fuck off! Like
that. Like, oh, okay, yeah, this is a fentanyl problem. Anyway,
they make it sound like it's a spore. Like it's that movie, that shitty M. Night Shyamalan movie with the
Happening.
Were coming to life. The Happening. Yeah, they make it sound like that with fentanyl.
Well, and we'll talk about that later, I suppose. But yeah, the deal is, and I think you're right. I think this is pretty established. The one big lesson they learned from Columbine all those years ago is that when a kid is shooting up the school, it used to be that they'd establish a command post and they'd try to contact the shooter and they'd try to negotiate. And after Columbine, they were like, fuck it. The new plan is run in and kill them real quick. Like, that's our new plan, is the cops need to enter the school as quickly as they can.
There's no reasoning with these people. Like, right. They're not there to...
Yeah, it's not a bank robbery. It's not Dog Day afternoon.
They're there to murder people.
Yeah.
They're there to take out as many people as possible. There's nothing in a game. Like, right. I'm going to get a car and you're going to fly me to this mountain. Like, no.
So the new plan, and this has been the plan ever since Columbine, which probably was 20 years ago or so, the new plan was first cop on scene gets in there quick. You just go in. You go in and you track down the guy shooting things and you kill him. And
or you take him out at least.
Yeah, you do whatever. I mean, I'm kind of like generalizing. But these cops, I guess, stayed outside for like a half hour or so. I remember there's a cop in Parkland that like loitered outside for 15 minutes. They crucified the guy. Cops
stood outside. I retweeted. Cops stood outside the school while the killer rampaged inside. Onlookers yelled at them to go in. They didn't. One parent urged bystanders, "Let's just rush in," because the cops aren't doing anything.
Yeah,
what they're supposed to do. But we should throw more money at them. See, that's the problem. Their budget's not bigger.
Yeah,
we need more money.
It is crazy to me. I mean, like that is. I taught in the classroom for a long time. That's what they taught us. Like, obviously
I think the problem is the kid didn't scream out Black Lives Matter. I think Black Lives Matter, the cops would have taken that kid out in a second.
Well, they didn't do anything. And then I guess
this kid was able to go in, shoot up a bunch of babies and teachers.
19 children and 2 teachers. Yeah, I think it was an AR-15. And he killed 19 children and two adults.
They said that 3 adults, so 22 people were dead. And they said it was so bad that they had to swab the parents to get DNA because these kids were so obliterated by these guns. Imagine, like, I mean, these will put a whole, like, remember Kyle Rittenhouse when he shot that guy in the arm?
Yeah.
He put a hole in the guy's arm. Like, it's amazing that arm is still attached to him. Probably going to be in pain for the rest of his life. It's never going to fully heal. And so imagine that now with like small children who weigh like 40, 50 pounds. Like, awful.
It's awful. Disgusting. And it was, if not the last day of school, the next to the last day of school or whatever. I mean, it's like you figure, I mean, you and I up until recently have had kids in elementary school. It's just
well, my son just graduated elementary school last week. I think yours, like, what, this week?
Today. And
I mean, it's fucking scary. It's scary that, like, a bunch of kids, I mean, like, and I mean, high school was bad enough as it was. And the thing with Sandy Hook, like, elementary school should never have been on the table. And then the thing is that, like, of course, now the right wing shitbags, conspiracy theories are now saying that this is a false flag operation. And that, which is, like, again, psychotic bullshit. The reality is, it is super easy to get these guns. Greg Abbott and the Republicans last year signed into law. It happened, I think, in September, basically making it easier to acquire guns in the state of Texas. I think they even lowered the age from 21 to 18 on a lot of these weapons.
For rifles and AR-15s, not for handguns, but for everything else.
Which is insane. That's like, wait, handguns should be, I mean, at that point, who cares? Might as well just give them tanks too. Like, absolutely batshit insane. Like, and they made it easier to acquire these weapons. Now, of course, the usual talking points the right wing will use, or the typical gun nuts will use, is that this is a mental health issue. Well, I'd say to that, maybe, and hear me out, it's probably not a good idea to make it so easy for anyone to get a weapon. Because if you had, and now they'll say, can't stop bad guys from getting guns. Yeah, you can, actually.
Yeah.
You can definitely reduce it. Now, yes, some people are still going to acquire weapons. Those are isolated incidents. But if you had actual regulations, you would see the numbers drop, not right away, but over a decade's time. You'd be like, let's say they put in a law tomorrow, getting rid of or reduce. Some law that basically says, one, you gotta you gotta be 21 to get this, and you have to pass like 12 different background checks. You need a license. You have to take like a month's you have to graduate a class in training.
Right.
Like, you can't just get this gun. Sorry. And you do all that. All of a sudden, it'll be like, we'll still have these shootings here and there, but then like 2 years from now, we'll be like, wow, it's been like 6 months since we've had a school shooting. And then it'll be like, wow, it's been a year since we had a school shooting. And then after like 5 years, it'll be like, wow, we haven't had a school shooting in years. But they play this game. They do this dance all the time. Laws don't stop anything. Why have laws at all?
That's the thing, is they really don't seem to have any problem using the let's make a law approach when it comes to things like abortion or drugs or shoplifting or this or that or whatever. I mean, like,
these are the same fucking dipshits that use the same logic on masks when the pandemic.
Yeah.
Well, people still got the virus with the mask. And it's like, and you're like, dipshit, the rates went down. The hospitals aren't being overflooded. Yes, people are still getting it because it's a very contagious disease. These are also the same assholes that refuse to get vaccinated. They use the same logic. Well, that person still got it. Yeah, but that person's still alive. They may have like bad week too, but they're not dead because they got the vaccine. These are the same shitbags. These are probably the same people who refuse to wear seatbelts when they put them in. Probably still refuse.
The problem too is that, like, if you say, well, we should have some common sense gun reform, and they'll say, no, that we should have mental health reform, I'd almost be willing to say, okay, well, we can start there. What do you propose for mental health reform? But they don't have anything for that either. They
vote for politicians that get rid of healthcare.
So if you don't want to talk about guns yet, and you do want to talk about mental health reform, I mean, I disagree that that's the order in which we should tackle these, but sure, let's talk about mental health care and how we can increase that. Let's see, you most recently voted that school guidance counselors shouldn't be able to talk about anything. So, like,
yeah, you made you don't want anything that sounds like anything is now CRT, so you're preventing kids from learning anything.
I mean, if they had anything to bring to the table, I'd be willing to, even though I disagree, I'd be willing to talk about that first and get that done.
Well, I would say to them, don't you agree that people who, if you truly believe that it's a mental health issue, then maybe people do not have the ability to handle firearms. They'll say some other dumb shit like, well, if they don't have weapons, they'll have to go get a box truck and drive into the school. I mean, that's so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
That's like such a stupid scenario. First of all, again, yeah, I guess they could do that.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. It's not gonna happen the way you think it is. That's not what a box truck is for.
Yeah,
right. Box truck is designed to get you to places with lots of stuff so you can move things or deliver items. Guns have no other utility except to maim, kill, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, and an AR-15 has no other utility because you can't even use it to hunt, or else you'll be like scraping animal parts off the side of a hill. You know,
right, the whole point is like if you're claiming to eat meat or whatever, is that you're gonna want to like, have like 1 or 2 bullets in there that you don't, that you're gonna have to fish out if that's what you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. AR-15 is not a hunting weapon. It's a literal weapon to murder people.
Yeah.
That's what it's good utility. At. Now, again, can you ride to work? Can you get to the store on an AR-15? I don't think so. It's probably not going to be. It's going to be bumpy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It is
such a.
I read today someone talking about. Someone was talking about like waiting for the debate regarding gun control to begin or whatever, and someone said like the debate actually ended with Sandy Hook.
Oh yeah,
because once the NRA got over the hump of Sandy Hook, then Americans accepted the fact that like, oh, we live in a place where like 20 children could get mowed down with an assault rifle.
Not just an arms. Honestly, I would say that the turning point was Columbine, and then there was a leaked information. Yeah. No, I truly believe it's Columbine. It's right there. If you were okay with 16-year-olds and 15-year-olds, 17-year-olds getting killed, you didn't give a fuck at that point. And then the baby thing, the kids getting killed in Sandy Hook, that was just the after effect. That was with over almost that was like 12 years, 13 years later after Columbine. There's already been a ton of shootings since before that. You didn't give a fuck at that point.
Well, I mean, I don't disagree, but I do think that things have accelerated. And when I look at Columbine, like there was nothing good about Columbine, but that was like kids at the school who had grudges against other kids at the school. There's like a logic there where even though it was horrible, you're like, oh, okay, I can connect the dots. That's why. But the first thing you and I asked about this is like, why the fuck did this kid go to the elementary school? Why did the other kid go to Sandy Hook? These are different.
Make any sense.
These are different ridiculous things.
But like, basically, there's a story that got out like not too long ago, transcripts or something of a meeting that NRA had. Like literally the day of Columbine, where they went in 2 directions. One could have came out against what happened and said like, this is bad, or do the opposite, and just demand more
guns,
more rights for guns, and they went in that direction instead.
Yeah,
and
I remember reading about
going back after that. There's no going back after that. They decided to become. I mean, they already were pretty much a right wing arm of the Republican Party, but at that point it became 100% apparent that it was a 2-way all the way, no other way. I mean, the craziest thing about these people is that any even just like the minor, you can't reason with these people.
No.
Like the most minor of any regulations, they'll say, haha, there's still killings in Chicago. There's still killings in New York. I'm like, they were like, this area has the strictest gun laws. We live in the United States. You can bring guns from Texas into a state that has stronger gun laws. It doesn't matter. You can do that. You know, it's probably more easier than it ever should be.
I wonder if like now with the way things have changed and everything, the courts and all that, I wonder if like, because you do always hear about it. You hear about like Illinois getting flooded with guns from Indiana, you know, or you hear about like New York or New Jersey getting flooded with guns.
Fireworks are illegal now, but everyone had them because they went to south of the border in South Carolina to get all the fireworks.
Well, I wonder why like a state like you know, like Colorado, let's say Colorado, for instance, maybe Colorado is a bad example because that's a big hunting, the western part's hunting focus. But let's say like, California, you know, why doesn't California take Texas to court? You know, like you're flooding our state with your guns, you know, I mean, or Illinois. Yeah.
Hold on, cat knocked something over.
Oh, geez.
Shut up,
There's a rare live audio recording of Buddy getting consequenced.
Buddy the jerk, not Buddy the cat.
What did he knock over?
We have pictures to hang up, and he knocked over a picture that we didn't hang up yet.
They'll do.
I guess he's trying to tell me, hey, get your ass to work and hang this picture up. I'm gonna keep knocking him over.
Yeah, it is weird. Like, I don't know. I don't know why a state like Illinois doesn't take Indiana to court. So you're flooding.
What's funny about this though is that like they're all quiet about that, but you remember like over the weeks when like, you know, the Supreme Court's gonna like get rid of Roe v. Wade, and then all these like companies are like, we'll fly you out here to abortion, but then all of a sudden like all these like right-winger politicians were like, we'll have you arrested or something if you try to leave the state and get an abortion.
Yeah.
Like, which is insane because that's like literally goes against the Constitution.
Yeah.
In the Constitution, it has to do with the ability to travel with the country freely.
Yeah. That's like a bedrock part of the Constitution.
Right. So they're okay. They have an issue with that there, you know, but when it comes to guns, they're like, yeah, whoops.
Well,
well, you guys have strong gun laws. Oh, you guys literally can't control anything. And we're having a big sale at the state next over. Why don't you guys come over and buy some?
Well, my wife was, and this is where it's hard because like the United States has a gun problem, and that's true. Yeah. Like we've said, like New York City may be super liberal in Manhattan or whatever, but if you get out to like Western New York, I mean, it's like a different planet, you know. And same with Pennsylvania.
Well, when I grew up in Long Island,
it
wasn't until I was like a little older and everything like that, because I was like in Nassau County, and I really didn't go that far out east, really, not very often. And when I started like being in a band and playing shows all over Long Island, I was like, oh my God, this area is redneck as fuck. Like, I mean, we're talking like just another 40 miles away. I mean, I'm like, holy shit, how is that? Like out east of Long Island is like the South.
Right. So like, you're never going to get to a point where like even within a state, it'll be hard to like get rid of guns. And I don't think anybody's really even talking about getting rid of guns. I mean, I haven't heard any.
No one's like getting rid of guns. I mean, they could do things like buyback plans.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you know, you want to get rid of this? Like, we'll pay you. And I bet you a lot of people would get rid of some guns.
Yeah.
Some would. Other things is like, you know, again, people like try to confuse the argument. Like they they can't handle even just like the slightest of regulations. They go crazy and they think like, I'm trying to prevent you from defending your home, which is asinine because one, no one's doing that.
No one.
Two, sorry, but it's a known fact. Most gun deaths in this country, not these massacres or anything like that. You know what is like one of the biggest rate of gun deaths in this country?
Probably accidental shootings and suicides.
At home.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In the home.
Yeah.
Accidental shootings. More people kill their own family members or themselves by accident.
Yeah. There's a lot of kids accidentally kill themselves because they found a gun.
Fucking commercial when you were older than me, but
yeah,
amazing commercial with these two kids playing with the dad's gun.
I remember
and then
that.
You hear the gun go off again. They would never allow that ad. This was in the 80s, and I remember seeing that ad, and it scared the fuck out of me. And which is good because it should. And
you and I talked about.
Never have that now. No way.
You and I talked about this on the show before. In Florida, when we had our daughter, it was when you took your kid to the pediatrician had a series of questions they would ask you about, and it was basically like in Florida, like, do you have a swimming pool? Is the pool secured? Do you have a fence around it? Does your kid know how to swim?
That was in an episode. That was the whole entire plot of Curb Your Enthusiasm last year.
Was it?
Was the fence around the swimming pool?
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
A guy robs his house or tries to rob his house.
Oh yeah,
and then drowns to death, and dies because the fence around the pool. And then the brother or whatever threatens to sue him, or Larry David could go to jail.
Attractive nuisance.
Attractive
nuisance is what they call it.
So this guy who tried stealing from Larry David, robbing him, died. It's like the joke, but it's Larry David's fault because he had a fence around the pool.
Well,
and then the brother starts to blackmail him and says, if you don't put my daughter in your TV show, I'm gonna tell the authorities or whatever. And the daughter was the worst actress in the world. It was she was insane.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
Well, in Florida, they would ask all these questions like, "Are you on prescription is your prescription medicine secured?" Just common sense shit. That look, if you're a new parent and you're not super, I mean, you may need to know this stuff. These are good things to know. And one of the questions was, do you have any firearms in the house? Are they locked? Are they in a safe? Are they? How do you store them? The Republicans made it illegal for doctors to ask parents if they had firearms in the home. They said it hurt their feelings. But that's the
same thing they did during the pandemic with the vaccine, especially in Texas. You were not allowed to ask if people got vaccinated. It hurts their feelings.
It
very sensitive. These people are,
It's so fucking unreal.
It's funny. These are all the people that tell you they're snowflakes, but man, when it comes to their feelings,
in Florida, then you can't even bring up the subject that maybe if you have a gun, you should keep an eye on how it's stored. Fucking kids get killed in Florida all the time from firearms.
It's the most deranged thing. Do you think these laws are there? They try to sell it like the state's trying to control you. It's a nanny state. Dude, these things are there to make sure that you don't kill your neighbor. It's literally what most laws in this country or anywhere are. Now you can go deeper, Illuminati or fucking, if you're a fucking lunatic. But the reality is that 90% of the laws in our country is to make sure that you don't kill your family, your neighbor, or yourself with your own stupid impulses.
Well,
that's the truth.
It is bizarre. So I don't know where the gun debate goes. I know that you're not going to find a Republican that's going to give an inch on this topic.
No, not at all. They're not going to, because they are gun lobbyists.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that. It's the same thing with the Supreme Court, thinking that Brett Kavanaugh or any of them are going to change their position.
No,
they're not. They were put in there for that specific reason.
Yeah.
They have no other reason to exist except for that.
It's that scorpion and the frog. The scorpion, that's what the scorpion does. It kills the frog.
The idea is to make sure that the scorpion does not go on your back ever.
Yeah, right.
That's it. That's the story. You invite. It's like a vampire too. What's the biggest thing about vampires? What's the biggest thing?
You can't invite them into your home.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
They literally cannot. They are powerless until you invite them into your home.
And then they
do their sexy vampire thing on you.
Yeah. Well, do you remember the vampire from The Young Ones?
The what?
The vampire from The Young Ones.
Oh man, I don't remember that.
He was from Johannesburg. He was like an apartheid vampire or something.
Oh, I don't remember that at all. I haven't watched that.
Yeah, it was the one guy who played
vampire.
Yeah, and The Damned was the musical guest.
I remember The Damned playing. I just don't remember the plot.
Yeah, they I forget who invited them in the house. I want to say it was Mike.
Well, it's like even in Lost Boys when you find out the main guy is a vampire. And he's like, you didn't show anything, and he's like, you invited me in your home. You rendered yourself powerless.
Yeah.
Nothing works on him. Like garlic didn't work on him. Nothing, because it's like.
Yeah, you've invited them into the home.
And it was a plot twist, so they were like, we gotta ignore these details.
I wish he had shown up in Corey Feldman's video Ascension Millennium, which would have also been a great throwback. So
Corey's Angels.
God. You've not heard or seen
what?
You've not heard or seen the video for Ascension Millennium? No. It came out like 3-4 years ago.
I don't want to watch it. Anything with Corey Feldman sounds awful. He except I liked him when he was a kid. When I was a kid, a movie like great. He showed up in Gremlins. I was like, oh, he's great.
He was always good. Yeah.
But man, as an adult, I don't know.
It just got weird. I mean, I feel bad. He was like a former childhood actor, and
there's a lot of fucked up stories. He claimed that like Charlie Sheen. He recently came around and said that Charlie Sheen no, not him. To Corey Haim. Him on the set of like what was that, Lucas or something.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I believe or disbelieve it, but yeah,
it wouldn't shock me. But we are not focusing on.
No.
We have allowed Corey Feldman. We invited Corey Feldman into our home, and we have rendered ourselves powerless.
Well, I don't know where the gun stuff goes, to be honest with you, but I do know. I guess this is like a decent.
Well, I have some more things to say.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Because one of the big things when the gun nuts always like to push is if you get rid of the guns, the good guys with the guns won't be able to help. Or this is my new favorite one, because the school is a gun-free zone. That's why the good guy wasn't there, because the good guy follows the law.
Yeah.
That's why the good guy wasn't there. If only we just made every place a gun, not I guess gun.
What would that be called? A gun zone.
Free?
A gun zone.
Gun zone. If every place just became a Old West hellhole where everyone carried weapons everywhere. Then there would just be so many good guys with guns there to stop massacres from happening. Pre-crime, they would just shoot random people and say that guy had a weird twitch. So, one thing I did was I have this one drawing that I always post that I did years ago with 2 middle fingers, and it says thoughts and prayers.
Yes, that's a good one.
And because the Republicans always say that now, they don't really say it as much because it's like we all know you don't get. We all know you don't mean it.
They've been called out on it successfully.
So then the other one is the good Samaritan, the good guy with the gun. So, and I said that there's no such thing as that. It does not exist. There's no good guy with a gun. Some people got offended by that. Said, I'm a good guy. I have a gun. I'm like,
where were you?
Yeah, where were you, buddy? Oh, it's because the school is a gun-free zone. I would never bring I follow the laws.
Yeah.
Such a bullshit. So they said, it's me. I made a drawing of a gun, a good guy with a gun.
Yeah, you said it was like in a classic Disney style, like an old Disney style.
Yeah, and it's his face, and he's like, "It's me, the magical, mythical good guy with the gun. I would help, but I don't exist." And he's got a unicorn horn.
Yep.
He has Pegasus wings. He's got Pan the Goat Man, hooves.
Yeah, cloven hooved.
Cloven hooves, and his gun has a goofy little face on it, looking up with his tongue sticking out in a classic cartoon. Like, I'm just a silly little gun. I'm just a silly little gun.
Yeah.
He's just, actually, it's not a gun. He calls it toolie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
because it's just a tool.
Yeah.
It's not a gun, it's a tool. I always love Family Guy there that Peter gets a gun and he's like, it's a tool. And he starts like using
it a hammer.
It's just like he shoots the TV, he shoots like the can. He's like, it's a tool. It's like one of the best.
It is.
And man, some people got really mad at me. One guy said to me, not about that one, about the thoughts on prayer. He said, but no spaces in the letters. Eat a dick faggot. I reposted
Succinct.
that. What?
Succinct. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was cool. I mean, that's nice. Good. They say, can we come together and have a conversation? And I said, with the guy who said, eat a dick faggot, it's going to be tough. I don't know if that guy.
He does not
I don't know if we could have a conversation. What?
Yeah, he does not seem a meet me in the middle type of guy. You know?
And then he doesn't believe in spaces between words.
Yeah.
And just like an all-around jerk. I had all kinds of people just say all the dumbest things about like bringing up the drug war.
It's crazy. They get real worked up.
Now a lot of the popular things to say like, you want to disarm the LGBTQ and black people.
Right.
I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Get the fuck out of here.
Well, I will say like two things, I guess. And one is that when we were talking last week about Elon Musk, like anytime anybody tweets something mildly critical of Elon Musk, his followers like really lay into things. And I thought that was kind of curious. But with this, like the amount of frenzy with which the right wing is responding to it kind of tips their hand in my mind. And they know they're in trouble when shit like this happens.
But this conversation doesn't, we say this every time. I mean, I have posted that artwork like 30 times over the past 4 years that I made that artwork. And it's the same conversation every time.
Yeah.
And I want to say to these people, guys, you've won. Nothing is going to happen. If anything, probably most of these red states that you live in, they're going to make it even easier to get those weapons. Unless something drastically changes, like, a person who believes in some gun regulation gets elected. Good luck with that. And I mean, like, I don't even know why we have this conversation. All I could say to these people is, you're a piece of shit, but guess what? You won. I am powerless to your fetish, your belief system. I have to live and hope that and dodge bullets or whatever.
Yeah, literally.
My side will never win in this argument. There's been no signs of winning. I mean, at what, bump stocks? Who cares?
Yeah.
And again, if we live in a blue state that puts in regulations, the next door or the state over that has lax gun laws, they will funnel those guns in anyway. Until there is a federal ban, like the one that George W. Bush let sunset, which was the Brady Bill, which prevented these type of incidents from happening because people wouldn't have access to these weapons.
Yeah.
It's like, I am like so done with arguing them because it's like, there is no argument. All I can do is say, you're a piece of shit and it will never, but I'm the bad guy for saying it. Like,
it is weird. I mean, like, I think some of it's just like, because you always hear this. I tend to believe it's true that like even most NRA members don't mind background checks and stuff. Like, I believe it. I mean, like,
it's easier for them to say. It's some of them. I believe it's easier for them to say it because they know that it'll never happen.
Yeah, but why would you cop to being an NRA member and then also say, yeah, I think maybe felons shouldn't have weapons, or I think
so
maybe
you sound like, so you could sound like a reasonable person. I'm sorry, if you're in the NRA,
you're not.
That's already a huge red flag to me at this point. I'm like, okay, buddy.
Yeah, like, that's like saying you joined the Klan for their potlucks. You know,
like, oh, don't worry, I'm really trying to get them to change.
But, I'm working from the inside.
You can't change. You can't fight City Hall. You know what I mean?
Well, Yeah, I don't know. I do tend to agree with you. I mean, I think though that like what was that expression? Like, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Like we're never going to get to a point where we've eliminated.
We're just asking for the most simplest of things.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, yeah,
like, I think we need to go back to the Brady bill. That should never went away. You could think, everyone blames George W. Bush for Iraq. They bring up Iraq all the time, which is, and it was great that he reminded everybody last week about Iraq. We talked about that. I feel like that does not get talked about enough because corporate media is owned by Republicans, and they're going to do everything they can to protect George W. Bush. Now, if that was Clinton who said that, and he started Iraq, they'd be talking about that nonstop.
You'd have that on T-shirts at every gas station.
Because I love Clinton and he's my hero. I'm saying it because it's a fucking fact. I've paid attention to the media for years, and man, those people fart weird. They'll talk about it for a decade. Wow. That Bush gaffe, man, the Ukraine thing is
that insane. Was crazy.
Iraq, that was like, whoa, that was like freaky deaky. But the reality is that he let that law sunset in 2004 under his law with Republicans. I remember that Onion article. I wish I can never find it, man. I just remember the Onion article where there's this like headlines like George W. Bush, like, yeah, let's see what happens.
Right. Yeah.
And it was the most truthful article ever. I mean, they knew it was going to happen. They put that law in because Reagan got shot, but it wasn't. But it didn't happen right away. Brady, who got like permanently disfigured from that, he was one of the people with Reagan when John Hinckley got shot. Hey, John Hinckley's out. If you guys want to see him, I think he's doing like a tour.
Does like poetry readings or something.
That's insane. I good job. You know what, man? Yeah, his tagline should be like, I won't miss a second time.
Yeah, right.
But like, I mean, yeah, he's like, I don't think it gets talked enough about that. Like George W. Bush let the Brady bill.
Yeah.
If you look back, I mean, obviously Columbine happened, but man, it was there was like a school that got shut up too. Yep. But they were so rare still. It would happen like once every couple of months. There'd be like an incident here. Now, dude, it's like every fucking week. The only time we had a break was during COVID.
Yeah. I looked at a map of school mass shootings, school shootings, I'm sorry. And it's I forget the name of it's some nonprofit or whatever. Anyway, it's a big map, and there's little pinpoints anywhere there's been a school shooting for like the last 50 years or something, and you look at the map, it's stunning, like how it's basically like a map of the population, wherever there's people, there's these school shootings or whatever. But they keep track of them too. And there were a lot of school shootings. I mean, not school shootings the way we think of them, but firearm incidents on campus, even during COVID, kids going to the school and shooting out windows and stuff. I mean, like that's kind of all in the mix, I don't know.
I don't know, man. I get it. It's just like, I think, all these irrational people, you can't argue with them. They say dumb shit like you ask for the simplest of regulations and they have every excuse in the book.
Yeah.
What was it? Boebert tweeted like, you can't legislate evil away. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. You still exist.
Yeah.
AOC ripped her ass apart.
Oh, I didn't see that. What'd she say?
She just basically, I gotta find this tweet.
Yeah.
So good. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Yeah. But I mean, it's just such a, I don't know. It's depressing that it's still this ongoing conversation, but it certainly is.
Hold on, I gotta get it. Oh, here we go. Lauren Boebert, you cannot legislate evil away. And AOC wrote, why even be in Congress if you don't believe in doing your job? Just quit. Let someone who actually gives a damn do it instead of acting like a useless piece of furniture when babies are shot with AR-15s that we let teen boys impulse buy before they can legally have a beer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing too. It's like you can't have these kids. The kid couldn't get a beer, but he can go get a gun and shoot up a school. So real quick, before we move on to the next thing, still part of it, but it's the next
Yeah,
part. Again, people bringing up the good guy with the gun thing. And then one of these idiots who would be like, a good guy got me in the end. And again, no, that was a trained person who was doing your job.
yeah.
I mean, I don't
Apples
know.
and oranges.
What?
Apples and oranges.
Yeah, and then these fucking cops that didn't do anything, let it happen. Like, I would want to know, again, it's like, I'm sure you looked at a lot of the kids that were killed. This is like a heavily Hispanic area.
Yeah.
I don't know much about it, so I don't want to like jump to conclusions and say like these cops were racist or anything like that. But man, there's some definite level of incompetence there.
It is I think it's incompetence. I mean, look, maybe
Cowardice.
it's just, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is like, I get not wanting to run into a building where people are shooting, but like, I'm not a cop or a soldier or, you know, that's
just insane. Again, it's like there's no excuse for it.
Well, they were saying on all the shows and commentary I was watching this evening that no one's coming out and saying anything yet, but they're saying like, this is not how it's done. This is a significant breach in protocol. The protocol across the board is you run in and
fentanyl. He might have fentanyl on him. And you know how cops are when they're around fentanyl. It's like
that's even more reason too. A guy's got fentanyl around children. Go get him. Go get him.
I know. It's like shoot him in the fucking head from a distance. Shoot him in the fucking ankle. Take him out. You know, someone posted a thing about training in America when it comes to cops versus other countries. And this is why probably most of the cops suck in this country. No offense to cops or our huge cop audience that listens to this. Sort of
right. Yeah.
Yeah. I will go to the policeman's ball. I'll donate money. Don't worry. You ever get those phone calls for the policeman's ball?
My brother used to work in a call center when he was like 15 or 16 that was for soliciting donations to like the Policeman's Bureau of Friends or something. And it was basically a scam. You'd get a sticker that you could put on your car, and you were supposed to believe that it would get you out of a ticket.
Yeah, like, I knew that. I knew people on Island who had that, or they had a relative who was a cop, and they would put the shit on their car, and they would get out of everything. And I'm like, sure, buddy. So the fuck was I even saying?
Well,
you got what?
No, you go ahead.
No, I like totally like on what I was going to say about like them like letting him get away with it. Like, I mean,
they just didn't do it. They didn't do their job.
Yeah, I mean, those people should be fucking fired. That's for damn sure. But like, the other day, what's her face? She's a senator. She ran for Amy Klobuchar. Posted a thing about how many cops died like last year or something like that, and everyone was like, "You do realize that out of all those, the majority of them died." You want to know what they died?
COVID.
Yes, it was COVID, because a lot of these people were anti-mask chuds. A lot of them are right-wingers. They're probably in social media. And if you saw all the cops, especially during the George Floyd protests, none of those people were in masks.
It was crazy.
And then somebody pointed out thing, more children, that includes high school kids, they're children, were murdered this year in schools than cops were.
Oh, yeah.
Being a student in the United States is a more dangerous occupation than being a cop.
Yeah.
It's a more dangerous occupation than being a cop? Pizza delivery.
Yeah. And that always pissed me off. I used to work for the state, and the police are allowed to retire with full benefits after only 20 years of service, meaning that theoretically a police officer can retire at age like 45 and draw a pension for the rest of their lives.
Like a school, remember when they were asking, and now they're starting to push it again. And I saw a lot of these dipshits on my Instagram stuff saying this too, that the teachers should be armed.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, if they're armed, then they should get the same benefits that the cops get.
Let them retire 20 years in,
How about we replace the schools, the teachers with cops, but then also replace all the students with cops? And then just like, I mean, it's so dumb. So something happened recently. Of course, Ted Cruz has been going around saying, and I should just play it because he has such a pleasant cadence to his voice that, you know, him speaking is not a psyop or anything.
Yeah.
If I can find it. Hold on. I guess I might have just retweeted it, but
Ted Cruz.
Here we go. No, hold on.
Do you want to talk about how we could have prevented the horror that played out across the street?
He's very upset.
Yeah.
Look, the killer entered here the same way the killer entered in Santa Fe, through a back door, an unlocked back door. Sat down at round tables with the families from Santa Fe. We talked about what we need to do to harden schools, including not having unlocked back doors, including not having unlocked doors to classroom, having one door that goes in and out of the school, having armed police officers at that one door.
Yeah, okay, I saw. Every fire chief in the country.
Yeah, I was going to say, like,
hey, oh, sorry.
Here the same way
shut up, Ted. Stop. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, every fire chief in the United States is right now going, these motherfuckers will do anything to avoid the conversation about guns. And of course, they do the same thing. They all do the same thing. This is not the time to talk about it. I mean, it is insanity. What do you do the same thing over and over? That's why I said the idea that we expect anything to come out of this. No, at this point, you just got to talk to these people and just be like, you know what? You guys have nothing to worry about. We've been through so many horrendous massacres in this country, and nothing really has been done. And nothing probably ever will be. Biden put out a bunch of tweets today saying, how did this kid get this? How did this kid do that? Okay, you know what? I think you might know a guy who has some power.
Yeah.
Maybe want to talk to him. Joe Biden, he's in the mirror. Like, maybe you could do something about it. This is my favorite too. Schumer said they're going to put it into a vote for gun legislation.
And then
after the vacation.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. We only do emergency votes when it comes to protecting Clarence Thomas.
I wonder what Joe Biden could do executive order wise. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure he could do something. You know, maybe it wouldn't be nearly enough, but like, what can he do?
And then the biggest problem too is that any laws that get put in or anywhere, can we rely on the police or anyone to actually enforce them? I mean, look, remember when Abbott put in a mask mandate in the state, and what did every sheriff write on? I'm not going to enforce this.
Yeah.
Everyone.
I don't know. I mean, like, if once it gets involved federally, because there was never a federal mask mandate. Once it gets involved federally, it gets a little trickier. You know, and like if cops are not enforcing something, then they can get in trouble. I'm not saying that machinery would work smoothly, but like, you have fewer options just to fold your arms and say, I'm not going to do it.
So Greg Abbott had a press conference today.
Yeah.
Just an important fact is that there's going to be an NRA meeting
in Houston
this weekend.
Yeah.
And Greg Abbott's going to be there. Ted Cruz is going to be there. Donald Trump's going to be there. What's his face backed out supposedly? The John Cornyn's not going to be there supposedly.
Yeah, he tries to play it like he's some sort of moderate, but he's not.
I find that interesting though, because if anything, that would be something you would do during an election. You would try to play it, but he's safe. He's safe for another 5 years.
Oh yeah, at least. Yeah,
so, that's whatever. Good on him, I guess. I don't know. That other guy, the Nick Fury guy.
Dan Crenshaw.
Yeah, supposedly he's not going to be there.
Huh.
He's trying to be McCain. He wants to be the next. He
does.
Be like, I'm the sensible guy, even though he voted for the same shit that Marjorie Taylor Greene voted for. You know, but whatever. I don't know what anyone else backed out, but it's kind of disgusting that Greg Abbott would still go. I'm not shocked about Ted Cruz, but Greg
Abbott, a few hours ago, he was saying he was undecided.
I wonder. Okay, so it's possible.
I'm confident he'll go, but
I don't know. He might not now because of what happened with so they did a press conference and a guy showed up to the press conference, and it was Abbott's political opponent in the gubernatorial race in Texas.
Yeah.
When they play it, And the clutching of the pearls of the Republicans.
Oh man,
it's just hysterical.
Excuse me.
Beto's gonna be a little tough to hear.
Yeah, it was difficult.
But
excuse me. Sit down. You're out of line.
Yeah. Fuck you, Ted Cruz. Sit down.
It was. I think that was the mayor of Uvalde, the city.
Oh yeah, the mayor's supposedly an asshole. He's been. I forgot. He blamed something already.
He was a frequent guest of Tucker Carlson's over the years.
Supposedly this guy sucks, and he said something typical right-wing bullshit about like going just recently. People are screaming, let him talk.
This is totally predictable. Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you're out of line. Please leave this auditorium. I can't believe you're a sick son of a bitch who come to a deal like this to make a political issue.
Rabbit sounds like such an ass clown. That mayor.
You know what, man?
It was weird too, where afterwards he started shooting his six guns at the ground and began hovering up in the air.
Large hat and
mustache
that takes up his whole face.
Yeah,
I found that interesting.
Uvalde Sam.
I'm glad Beto did that.
Oh, that's 100% the way
Abbott
to go.
didn't say anything, so he made Abbott look weak. And you know what? Fuck these ghouls. These are all ghouls. Fuck them. These pieces of shits. You know what? I watched that, and let me tell you. I'm gonna say it again. I am so happy I don't live in Texas anymore.
Well,
I don't have to know that those motherfuckers run the state that I live in. My tax dollars don't feed these pieces of shits anymore. I hope Beto wins because I think that would be good for the entire country. It's not, this race is very important, and it's very important. If Beto gets in, that's a huge fucking deal. Now, I believe if he got in, he's going to have a hard time. They're going to strip all his powers and whatever, but man, having him as governor, even if it just stopped, even if he got nothing done and it stopped 4 years of ghoulishness from happening, that would make the country and the state of Texas safer.
Well, he's got a shot. I mean, it's hard to say. These things change so much, but I would say that my greatest frustration is when politicians don't do what Beto did. I think they 100%.
Most politicians don't do that. You don't.
They should 100% be in the public square confronting these people daily.
This is like in Rocky 3 when Clubber Lang shows up at Rocky's big statue reveal, and he was like, he called him out, and then he
called him the chump, not the champ.
And then he told Talia Shire, "Want you to be with a real man?"
Yeah.
And even at the age of 3, when I saw that in the theater, I was like, he's bitching out. He's making he's cucking Rocky right now.
Well, look, Beto, and that's 100% what happened is Beto got up there and he made Greg Abbott look weak and impotent. He looked like Greg Abbott didn't know where he was, and everyone around Greg Abbott looked like they were scared of Beto.
And that one guy, you got here, you rude, you're a piece of shit.
It was Shakespearean almost. It was like a ghost showing up at the banquet, and all the people are freaked out. Like, what do we do? Our sins are here in front of us. We're being confronted with our own bullshit. And they freaked out, or they froze, or they didn't know what to do.
I hope Abbott does it. I mean, I hope Beto does it again.
I hope Beto does it again and again, and I hope he inspires other people. Just like how
these
college.
Motherfuckers, remember the TTP people were showing up at Beto's rally when he was just running, getting people like registered to vote and everything. And these people were showing up with like air horns and alarm systems and making loud noises so that he couldn't hear it. It was like so fucking gross, and I was like, "Fuck it, do it to them, man."
Yeah, that's it.
Fuck it.
They shouldn't be able to go anywhere. And I hope Beto inspires other people, just like that college kid who shut down Ben Shapiro. I haven't seen any more clips of Ben Shapiro destroying college liberals, because that one college liberal is like, you're a fucking bozo. You what are you even talking about? And I hope that Ken Paxton and Greg, I hope they can't go anywhere without someone shouting that in the crowd, and it should be like, I'm stunned that the NRA is going to be in Houston. Houston's a huge, like you said, Democratic stronghold.
This is like Columbine. Remember Columbine happened like literally the NRA convention happened literally like 2 days later.
They shouldn't be able to get, there's like real easy things progressives and Democrats can do legally to make that a tough place.
The NRA, the funny thing about the NRA conference is, guess what? This is all irony. The NRA thing.
Yep.
Gun-free zone.
Guns they never want guns there, but they look. You want. If you're a progressive in Houston, around the time it starts, call an Uber and go somewhere. Go park downtown. Go, take a drive around the Civic Center or wherever they're having it. Like there's a lot you can do very easily to just like muddle that place up.
So, the fact that Trump's going there too. What the fuck out of here, Trump, dude? You're a piece. Trump needs to go get fucked, and people need to stop reposting his
Truth
fucking
Social
cheap ass knockoff fucking One Ring Circus fucking social media app. That fucking what do you call it? Like it's like a janky like
it's Wish like, Twitter.
It's like remember when Cabbage Patch Kids came out and they were like all these like copycats. Yeah. He's a fucking lettuce baby. Like, he's a fucking lettuce baby.
Turnip truck baby.
They're like reposting Trump's truth things as if they were tweets. Get the fuck out of here. You're irrelevant. Anything that's tweeted on Truth Social mounts as much as my fart.
I don't know. I'm hopeful that Beto amps up this type of thing. Like that's what's going to get him over the top. If you have to believe, if you want Texas to trend blue, you have to believe that there's enough Democrats and moderates that are sick of the ghoul show that the Texas GOP has come.
There ain't gonna be no debate though. No fuck. Abbott ain't gonna show up.
No, he's a coward.
No, he's not even just. He's a horrible people. Like I said, Ted Cruz had one debate with him, made sure to weasel out of all the others because he looked like he couldn't handle it. That's how the only way Ted Cruz is able to win was by hiding.
Yeah. Well, there still is, I don't know. But anyway, that's the way forward. I think that's the way forward in general. Now, it may not be the way forward for everyone. You may have, like in a state like Virginia, that might not be the way. But in Texas, if you're a Democrat, that's how you play. The idea, but again, it's like now there's been a school shooting. It's like the Republicans now they're doing this whole. They want to change the conversation. Ted Cruz going around talking about the door. It's like, you're obsessed with the back door, Ted, and we know your porn habits. Yeah.
I always love that night because it was like on 9/11 or whatever. So anytime like on 9/11. You see all the stuff in memory of the attack on the World Trade Center, but then people are like, "Happy anniversary" too, and then it's a fucking tweet, dude. They removed Twitter. They removed all those. If you do a search GIF, it used to be all the time on Twitter. I would like tweet something. Let me see. I'm gonna tweet something. See if they show up. I'll see if I'm right or not. So, GIF. You used to be able to just type in Ted Cruz porn. Doesn't show up anymore. Now it's just images of Ted Cruz, just wacky images. This is what the pictures of him walking around with the mask in the airport, though, being with his tail between his ass. Yeah. But that woman's gone. The whatever, she's like a famous porn star, I guess. It's gone. Yeah. They took the so-called left-leaning Twitter people or Giphy or whatever, they removed that image. There used to be tons of them. You just type in anytime Ted Cruz. You can just go on Google and download the GIF and put it up.
Yeah.
But got to
well,
work. I mean,
I think.
Yeah, go ahead. What?
No, I was going to say I think the way Beto played it is the way to go forward, and we're going to see that. We'll talk in a minute about the primaries that occurred yesterday and recently, but election season starts real soon, and do
you think a lot? So we'll move on to the next thing in a second. But do you think that any of these shootings that happened recently, especially with these like 18-year-old boys, like you have 2 massacres committed by 2 different 18-year-old boys over weekend? Do you think that any of it had to do with fucking Kyle Rittenhouse at all? Of him getting away with it, because it's like the same age. Do you think like there's like a downstream effect in any way? Think they could get away with it in some way or be lionized?
My gut feeling is no, and I'll say that just for a few reasons. First, we've had an 18-year-old white male problem for a while now. Kyle Rittenhouse was like definitely a great example of it, but we've had this problem for a while. And secondly, the Buffalo kid and the Uvalde kid both were doing things that they knew were clearly illegal and likely to result in their own death. And Kyle Rittenhouse probably thought he would get away with it, and probably thought like he could that he could get through it. Kyle Rittenhouse wasn't on a suicide mission, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I
mean, like, you don't think that has like any this was like recent, he got away with it.
I don't think it's a cause and effect. I don't think the Kyle Rittenhouse thing caused or contributed to these 2 things, but I think that you can definitely say we have a young white male problem.
Well, this kid, I guess the big thing the right was pushing, we'll move on to the next thing,
was
that this kid was Hispanic, and this is great. Everything they pushed this for, and they still do. Candace Owens never took a tweet down. They said that he was illegal, and that he was a trans person too.
Yeah, Candace Owens took a tweet down. She accused
She actually took the tweet down. It was still up last I looked.
I thought so. She accused a trans person of being the shooter, and it wasn't.
It was like 2 different people, and each of them are like, yeah, that's not me, and I don't live there. Yeah. And the other thing too is
they should sue.
Yeah, they should totally sue her. Or yeah, I mean, come on, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The other thing too is this kid was not a illegal or whatever they want to call it.
From North Dakota.
This kid was from North Dakota. That's why I was like wondering if you were saying it, and like yesterday people were like, yeah, North Dakota and South Dakota need to be like,
yeah, I said that.
Or just no state, just get rid of them.
Yeah.
You know? If you want to get rid of the Republican problem in the Senate, just get rid of one of the Dakotas.
Right. The North Dakota thing, him being from North Dakota got me thinking about it, and I've just long believed that they should be one state.
They should. There's absolutely no reason for why they're 2 different states.
You know what I will say about this, and this is just kind of my theory, like semi-informed theory, and I wouldn't even like talk about it too much because I think it's easy to go into the wrong place with this. But like, I guess this shooter from yesterday was working full-time at a Wendy's. And he should have been in 12th grade, right? And he was living with his grandparents, apparently, and he was dependent on them for his phone. It sounded like he was broke, I guess is what I'm getting at. And he didn't have
these fucking guns.
Well,
credit card?
He worked at Wendy's. He just spent his money on guns and not other things. So I wonder, okay, so he didn't have like a family and he didn't have money. And that's why I say like it's easy to go south in this, because I don't want to turn this into you need a traditional family, or but like he was unrooted from any sense of stability, it seems. And he was broke, and
he's the product of unfettered capitalism.
Yeah, right. And that's it. Like he's looking at his future, and he's not in school anymore. He's not going to go to school. He is living in like kind of a not great situation. And his prospects are, as if he works really, really hard, he can be shift leader and get $8 an hour. And he's doing the math, and he'll never get an apartment, and he'll never get a car, and like what, like that's I think the problem, in a weird sense. Like Kyle Rittenhouse, that family seemed griftery, and it seemed like they were blaming everyone else for their problems, and like a lot of these people just seem like fucking, I know Uvalde's not in the Rust Belt, but it just seems like people that feel like they don't have a future,
Well, some of them don't.
Yeah, he probably didn't.
There's kids
frankly.
who, you can be thankful. I don't know where I'm bearing it, but like, I knew I was going to go to college. I just had to make sure my grades were good. But I didn't go to like Harvard or anything. I just went to like a state school, but that's still more than most kids have in this country. And but again, it's like, I don't know why he decided to go shoot up an elementary school. That's something.
Yeah.
I kind of wish he wasn't killed. I wished it would have been, I wished he wasn't just killed. Like I wish it was like the other guy who got to live, and we get fucking information on that.
Yeah.
And we could find out a little more about them. That guy got to live. We got to find out a lot more about that guy who shot up that store.
Yeah.
He was a fucking disgusting racist.
Well, that's the thing, is that like a lot of them are just racist. This kid didn't seem racist. He just seemed like a nihilist,
Well, he's clearly nuts and he had a lot of problems. But again, that's why the argument is, if you say if you say the argument is that it's a mental health issue, then the response is, well, if that's the case, then clearly most people in this society we live in should not have access to these weapons. And again, all these dipshits that say like, oh, you want the government to control these things, we already saw a fascist government in effect in 2020, in the summer of 2020, during the George Floyd protests, and all these so-called two-way anti-government people were lockstep with the fascist government in effect.
Wow.
So we know truly where these people are.
Yeah.
They want us to be afraid of them. That's it. They want us to be in fear.
Yeah.
So that we're scared to put in more progressive policies. So that we're like, they want to intimidate. Like Trump said, I don't know if it was in 2020 or one of his bullshit speeches, he said, I have all the cops.
I remember that.
All the gun people. That was not just a bragging. That was a threat.
Yeah.
That was a threat that he was making.
That's weird.
Come and try to take away the presidents from me.
Yeah.
I have all these guys backing me up. And look at what happened January 6th.
Yeah.
He wasn't kidding.
Oh,
wow. I mean, listen, again, I'm not, if your reaction is to see 19 kids get killed and your reaction is to like just cry about your weapon, cry about this, complain, say that how am you supposed to defend your home and all that stuff, I don't know, we can't have this conversation.
Right. It's not can't debate. I mean, it's no longer a debatable thing.
It never was a debate. That's the problem. It never was.
Wow.
All right. Well, let's just go on to the next thing. Well, speaking of dipshits, the primary, let's just talk about this pretty quickly. So there was a primary in Texas.
Yep.
We talked about this beforehand. And there was a Democrat who's like the most anti-choice and pro-gun.
Yes.
Squeaked the win, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like literally the same day the shooting happened. It's just kind of sucked because supposedly like Pelosi and all the leading Democrats were like pushing for this guy, which makes no sense when like, you're putting out a message saying like what the Supreme Court's doing is wrong about women. What this is, a woman has a right to be able to choose. And then you back a candidate who literally wants to do the opposite. I'm sorry. That's just doesn't make any sense.
That's real frustrating. Especially like I get it in I know this drives people nuts, but like I get it in a district that's not going to elect anyone else. But like I think the woman who opposed, you're talking about the Cellular Cisneros race. I think Jessica Cisneros was the progressive challenger.
Yeah.
I think she had a real shot, So I don't know.
Oh, real quick, I just want to say something. That Ted Cruz obsession with doors.
Yeah.
I I tweet. I said, Ted Cruz should be in a room with no doors.
Yeah, there you go.
Got your wish, buddy.
Yeah, the only real big surprise in Texas to me, this isn't, I guess it's not a surprise even, but the only thing noteworthy is that Ken Paxton, who's been under indictment for 7 years and has certainly got a lot of legal problems himself, he beat the hell out of George P. Bush, who literally sold his soul to be a MAGA.
George P. Bush is the son of Jeb Bush.
Yes.
Who Donald Trump humiliated on the stage
routinely,
in the 2015-2016 primaries. And George P. Bush groveled and kissed Trump's ass.
Yep.
And Trump still endorsed Ken Paxton over P. Bush anyway.
Yeah. And then Ken Paxton just clobbered P. Bush.
I'm kind of glad. I'm glad that P. Bush is a fucking disaster. He was always like my fear of like, I don't know.
Right, me too. Like he could be.
He could give a good speech and like, oh, look at me, I'm a Latino Bush.
Well, they're saying that this is some people were saying that that's effectively the end of the Bush dynasty. I don't know if I believe that, but like for now,
I mean, unless Jenna wants to run, I don't think those daughters are interested.
Nah, they don't care.
One is does what do you call it, like puff pieces once in a while
from the Today Show or something,
NBC, and I think the other one became like a teacher or something.
That would make sense.
She's the cool one.
Makes sense. Yeah, I don't like it.
I think she's chill. I bet we could hang out. I bet she'd be like, my dad's she'd be like smoking a J and be like, and by a J I mean a joint.
She's probably like hanging out in a room, and George comes up to tell her to keep it down, and she chucks a shoe at him, just like that guy in Iraq.
Except she doesn't miss.
And it's a spiky heel. Right
in the brain. My bum. No, she seems cool. She's like, you know what? Fuck you, Dad.
Yeah, I look. It is kind of tough being the kid of a political figure, because like that does kind of paint you.
I always got like they're twins, but they don't really look anything alike. The other one always seemed kind of dumber. Jenna, yeah, she seemed like
she was the blonde one.
Yeah, she seemed pretty stupid, and she looks a lot like her dad. Like they have like very similar facial features, but the other one doesn't look like her. So I like to think that she like.
The other one's real pretty, yeah. Well, they're both pretty, but
oh yeah, because George W. Bush is pretty. I'm sorry if you think Jenna Bush is pretty.
Yeah. Well, okay, so the other big primary, I'm gonna think about baseball scores for a second.
All right.
The other big primary news was that I was gonna say Sarah, the human thumb Huckabee, won her race, and
I'm not shocked by that.
Nope,
that sucks. She'll probably win.
And then I'll do one other.
I forgot she was running. Ugh.
I did too. I'd completely forgot about her, and then they're like, Sarah Huckabee wins, and I was like, oh, I forgot about her. She looks like a giant thumb.
I used to go to Arkansas a lot for my old job.
Yeah,
and I went a couple of times for some art stuff. I knew this guy, but now that it would be so much further away. I have no interest in ever probably going there. So
I like Little Rock's real pretty, and
what? No,
Little Rock's real
has some is not a Fayetteville. Is that it? I don't know.
Yeah,
that's where I would used to go a lot. That's a nice town.
I think that's where Northern Arizona. University of North Arkansas. Oh, there's a couple.
It was nice. I mean, I liked going out there, but like I said, Sarah Huckabee Sanders is a human garbage dump. She sucks.
Well, the other
that's a shame. She's just not a good. I don't think she's a good person.
No,
I don't think her dad's a dick.
Yeah,
he's just like a dick. He thinks he's funny.
Well, she was terrible when she was Trump's press secretary.
Oh, she's awful.
A horrible person. The other one I wanted to talk about real quick before we talk about Georgia, because that's where most of the stuff was, is that the governor of Idaho, who is a terrible person, beat the lieutenant governor of Idaho, Janice McGeachin, who is a more terrible person.
That was the one that put in all the rules when he left the state to do something stupid, and then he came back and he's like, yeah, none of that's happening.
Yeah, it's like literally like the teacher leaves to run to the office and says, okay, Johnny, you're in charge. And the teacher leaves, and Johnny's like, there's a new rule, whoever wears blue shorts has to,
I have the conch.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's like Lord of the Rings, not
Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies. So anyway, my only experience with Janice McGeechan is a while ago in March. I tweeted, Janice McGeechan is a white supremacist and a terrible person. And then she immediately blocked me, like within moments. And then I
because the free market of ideas, I guess.
And then right after that, I tweeted, Janice McGeechan is a horrible trash can of a human who blocked me for merely pointing this out. And then 3 of the people on her staff blocked me. So
Joseph K, my nemesis.
It's like
some guy out
some
there.
complete zero in Texas. And they're like,
some guy with 300 followers on Twitter just said I'm a Nazi.
This guy's really hammering us. What can we do?
I've never had anyone tweet at me before because they didn't know I existed.
Well,
exposed by rebel journalists.
Yeah, it was great.
Hey, you did get that one tweet that got 35,000 likes.
Yeah. I've had 2 big tweets. One bad mouthing Steve Mnuchin, and the other bad mouthing Elon Musk, and they've both blown up. So
both positive.
Yeah.
But guess what, guys? I just want to bring out a good point. I said, Joseph, let's plug YSGOAT on that tweet, because it was blowing up.
Yeah.
And you did. And because of that, let's see where we're at now. I'm going to look this up.
Oh, I'll bet you it's skyrocketed.
Oh my God. I mean, we were 79 for 3 years or something. Just skating, believe it or not, we are now at 118 followers on Twitter. That's
it is a little weird. I never tweet anything on that account.
You need to start doing more stuff. You should honestly, what you need to do is just retweet yourself.
Yeah, that's probably good.
Not the baseball shit, because doesn't have anything to do. I mean, you could. I mean, the joke is I'll probably get us the most amount of responses, except we'll have people listening to us where's the scores?
Yeah,
where's the
deep dive on the backup quarterback situation?
I don't know what you're talking about. We're going to talk about Ted Cruz. Yeah, guys. I mean, if you're new to our show, just stick around to the very, very end. Right? Yeah. Joseph does his sports corner. We just forget to record it. we always turn it off right before it.
Right. Well, okay. So the
corner with Joseph K.
The other big news of the primary was in Georgia, and the guy who's challenging Marjorie Taylor Greene won his race, and he looks like a legitimate candidate.
He has a cowboy hat, so you know he's.
Well, he looks like the other one. People are thinking that he may have kind of been a fake candidate, or what. He quit the race before.
You mean the one last time, 2 years ago, the guy who just bailed 2 weeks before the election,
right? And but the big one is that Trump kind of went all in and bet on a candidate for Secretary of State that lost, and a candidate for governor which got clobbered,
which was the previous senator that
Purdue
Ossoff beat.
And Ossoff embarrassed the hell out of him in the debates. The guy wouldn't even.
Yeah, he went. I think he only had one debate or something with that guy.
He looked like he looked like a deer in headlights when Ossoff and Ossoff kind of took a Beto O'Rourke approach. He just kind of came at him and said "This is your bullshit. Defend it." And a lot of these Republican politicians, and some Democrats too, I'm sure, aren't used to having to answer to anyone or answer to anything.
They don't want to. They don't want to. They don't want to be held. No, not at all.
So I don't know what this means. I do know that, look, the Republicans that won are terrible people. Don't get me wrong. But
it just weakens Trump's brand. I mean, last week, there was a bunch of people that also lost under Trump. Now, there was unfortunately one big win, which was Herschel Walker.
Oh, Herschel Walker, yeah.
That guy's
guy
sucks.
Speaking of sports, though, it's hard to. It's like the Lone Ranger running in Texas or something. I mean,
Dr. Pepper, if he ran for governor, for good,
right?
Bluebell ice cream, who still killed like 11 people with hysteria, would still win in Texas.
It'd be like if both Ben and Jerry ran in Vermont. They're gonna win. So Herschel Walker, it's hard to explain how big
they
of
would
an
split the ticket, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's a huge sports figure in Georgia. A lot of people are just going to vote for Herschel Walker. Do you
think that? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. My biggest fear, and that's why I tweeted it. There was yesterday. I said, Georgia people, please answer this question. Do you think Herschel Walker is wasting his time, or do you think he really stands a chance? And some people said, unfortunately, it's football. Wouldn't shock me one bit if he won.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
Has Warnock been a bad senator?
No, I do think Warnock is going to win. I mean, I really do. But
Warnock seems like a serious person. Herschel Walker's not.
Yeah. Well, Herschel, I mean,
his stupid grifter son, his embarrassment of a son, that annoying person.
I'm going to have to wait to see when the real race kicks in, because there's a lot of tape on Herschel Walker that looks terrible.
I don't think it matters, man. People vote Republican don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Donald Trump fucking walked in on young girls in the back during, like, we're talking like, it was like what, the preteen or something?
Hillary never went after him for that kind of stuff real hard.
Yeah, she did. No, she did say stuff like that. They just never gave it the attention. She said the stuff about Putin. She said all these things about him. It just never.
She should have run ads. Instead of having like fucking Tim Kaine talk about a bright future, it should have been Hillary with like a PowerPoint saying like, this and this and this.
Look at like that bullshit pre-debate thing with Matt Lauer, where he like, we knew what happened to Matt Lauer.
Right? Yeah.
Where in the world is Matt Lauer? With the office, with that special button that locks the woman in. But remember that he interviewed her, but it was only like talked down to her and everything, and then
all he did is hammer her for a half hour on the email thing, and then Trump gets on there and he's like, "How do you keep your hair so amazing?" Like,
wow, your hands aren't bigger than they say.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem. They were consistently able to attack Hillary on her emails. That was it. It was a consistent argument. Trump had Three Stooges syndrome, which is the same thing that Mr. Burns has, where all the diseases are trying to squeeze through.
Right.
He had so many things that they couldn't focus on, and they didn't want to focus on it.
Yeah. So, and some of them, like some of those problems, people can kind of rationalize, like, I've been accused of something I didn't do. But like the email thing, that was like, you're right. It was consistent. It was over and over again.
It was over. And anytime there was a new controversy with Trump, they would always follow up with, we have to say something bad about the Democrats now. And they would just bring up emails or Benghazi or whatever. It would be the same consistent thing. Let me see if I can find the Herschel Walker video. Well, all right, it doesn't even matter. So someone interviewed him after asking about the shooting, and he just didn't even answer the question. I don't even think he was even aware what was going on.
Yeah.
It seems like they said that guy's brain is pudding. But this guy's like a terrible person, right? There's like all kinds of
he like threatened to kill cops. There's like a lot of like bad shit on him.
Hey, he's ACAB. That's great.
Well,
I'm telling you, it doesn't matter, dude. MAGA world doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
He can literally eat a baby on stage. They would still vote for him.
Well, that's the thing, is that they've been real successful in not getting that in their heads cognitively or something. Like all they care about is
they want to win.
Yeah,
I don't care. They put in like the worst person in the world.
Yeah,
that's why Boebert, Gates. That's why it's amazing that Madison Cawthorn lost, because Madison Cawthorn, man, he fucked up talking about the cocaine parties. He had the easiest gig in the world. He had the easiest gig. He was in a gerrymandered district.
He didn't have to do anything.
Republican who literally just had to vote against every progressive issue that they could and put in everything horrible. He didn't have to do anything. He just couldn't shut up.
Yeah, he got in his own way. I wonder if that's going to happen to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
No.
And I wonder if it's going to happen to Lauren Boebert.
Nope. They know how to play the game better than him. They didn't bring up the cocaine orgies.
Yeah, well, that is true. They have both.
Look what happened in
the same
Cawthorn.
playbook.
He brought up the cocaine orgy, And now he's gone. There's no reason. Oh, and the January 6th thing, which they were able to be more effective in North Carolina.
I'll say that Lauren Boebert, given what I know about her district, probably seems safer to me than Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor, yeah, I think, well, like Lauren Boebert is just horrible and stupid, but like
she's just a waste of time.
She's just a waste of time. I don't think she's like hurting that part of Colorado. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is, I think that little part of Georgia might be like, look, we gotta get our shit together. You know, I mean, that might be a little different.
Oh, this is just came in. Sorry, I have to interrupt real quick.
Yeah,
Jess Dweck. She's like a comedic writer.
Yeah,
like TV shows. She put out a powerful tweet. No other country in the world has massacres like this, and the reason is simple. They all just have one door.
Nice.
I mean, Norway doesn't have shootings like this.
No.
They have one door.
Yeah, for a long time, that country was actually called One Way. And it was only, I think Nor is the Norwegian word for door. Like, so.
Yeah, yep.
A lot of people don't know that, but.
A lot of people don't know that because, because it's just real, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I hope Warnock kicks the shit out of. I mean, it bothers. I hate those type of candidates. I hate candidates like Oz and Herschel Walker. I mean, he's like
gimmick candidates,
gimmick candidates that run off a celebrity and then actual policy.
Yeah,
those are the biggest threats because we live in a stupid country and there's a lot of dumbasses. These are the same people who voted for like Arnold and be like, we're gonna terminate it.
Yeah.
You know, like it's dumb. Like.
That's what I always hated when people would float the idea of like Oprah becoming a Democratic candidate. It was just like,
no, I don't want Oprah to be the president. You know what? She's a self-serving billionaire.
Well, and she's apparently had terrible instincts because she made Dr. Oz famous. She made Dr. Phil famous.
Those guys were all COVID deniers.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. So, okay.
I always found it. Remember years ago. This was so long ago. Some guy put out a book, and it was revealed that it wasn't true, and it was put out by like Oprah.
Oh yeah, James Fry.
That was the only time I saw Oprah rip someone apart.
Yeah,
just because it affected her dollar or something like that.
And I remember that James Fry, I think, wrote that book. I think it was called A Million Little Pieces, and it was his supposed to be an autobiographical account of him coming out of recovery or whatever. And I read this one book just like a month or two ago called The Last Interview, and I forget who it was by, but one of his big ideas was that James Fry did nothing wrong, that of course you would fictionalize some of that. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, why?
Oh, like no one else does that,
right? Like that was his whole thing. It's like and I think this is true. I don't mean to get too far off the point here, but like the way you remember your life changes. Like I look back on some events in my life and I remember them. I literally remember them differently at different points in my life based on like where I'm at or what new information I've learned or whatever. Or like now, like you might like remember, oh yeah, I remember when I was telling jokes as a fifth grader and I was cracking everyone up and how awesome it was at Thanksgiving. And then like maybe a year or two later, you're like, oh, that was just sort of polite laughter and I was a fool. Like, and like, and both memories are 100% true, but like,
you have a different perspective now.
They change, So I don't know. Anyway, those are the primaries. Yeah.
Well, whatever. Yeah, Oprah didn't do anything to ring in her shitbag people. No. Whatever. I mean, I always thought that was stupid. The idea of Oprah running. It's like, come on, really? You can't get someone else.
Like, get someone. Look, I
know you get somebody and just try to make sure Oprah donates them, like she did with Obama.
There's people out there like Obama. Obama was telegenic and he was charismatic and he was hella smart. Get another one like that, Or I'm not saying, look, I didn't like George Bush Sr., but he was like somewhat folksy and he was real smart. He was evil, but he was the dad. Oh. Dad was real smart, and like, I don't know. I mean, like, Mitt Romney's probably a better example. I very much dislike Mitt Romney, but he's good on TV and he's smart. I mean, like, those candidates are a lot easier to tolerate than like a fucking Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker sounds like is an idiot. Like, there's nothing there.
No, he seems like legitimately dumb. Like,
well, it's not even that he's legitimately dumb. It's like, I think his brain is pudding.
Yeah.
Like he cognitively cannot do it.
Like, yeah.
I don't care. I just saying, if people are stupid enough to vote for him over Warnock, then obviously Georgia is not a blue state.
Right. Yeah.
That's the reality. If Stacey Abrams does not win, Brian Kemp, people have to come out and vote. I don't know what to say. I mean, like,
voting in Georgia was up like 120% or something. It was a voting is
one of the things that's kind of scared me. I saw this, like, Pennsylvania, more Republicans came out and voted in the primary than Democrats did, supposedly.
Yeah, but look at the races. I mean, Shapiro won by like a 90% margin. There was no need for anyone to go out and vote for Shapiro. He was going to win. The two Republicans were neck and neck. If you had a preference, you had to go out there and vote.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, like, that's
Shapiro was tweeting about it actually and said, more people came out for the primaries. Like, you guys gonna have to come out and vote.
He should be tweeting about it.
He said that. He's like, we have a big challenge ahead of us. He's like, more Republicans voted in the primary. Regardless of what you're saying, that's the message, is though you want to make it, make people complacent and be like, dude, you gotta come out and vote.
Yeah, you got to make it like life or death, because it might be,
Yeah, but Democrats have to do more stuff. They can't just be like, oh yeah, we'll do a vote when we get back we'll do it next Thursday.
Disheartening.
It is disheartening. It should be done. Schumer should be like, we're doing it now.
Yeah.
Get in. Hey, Ted Cruz, get back in. Come back through the door.
Come back through the front door. Come
through the back door. We know what you like. Your obsession with the back door.
Back door, man.
Back door Cruz.
Yeah. All right. Well, so Seth Greene had a picture of an ape, right?
So Seth Greene is a child actor. He was in the movie Can't Buy Me Love and many other movies. Yeah,
I always remember him as Oz in
We watched recently Can't Buy Me Love, and I think Roger was kind of bored by it, but that's the movie where Patrick Dempsey pays for the girl's the craziest thing about that movie is the main girl, she's dead. She died a couple of years ago. Yeah, like many years, actually, a little while back.
43. She died in Greeley, Colorado of a drug overdose at age 43.
What year was that?
2015.
Yeah. So he's his brother. He's in like tons of movies, but the thing is, like, Scott Evil from the Austin Powers movies, probably the best part of the first Austin Powers movie, probably like the funniest thing. Dr. Evil's test tube baby son.
Yeah.
Scott Evil. It's just really funny. Like, my favorite scene in that movie is when, like, Austin's there and Dr. Evil's come up with like a stupid plan what to do with him, and Scott Evil's like, I have a gun. Just shoot him.
Right.
I'll go get it. It's in my room. I'll bring it out and we can finish this.
Yeah.
Like, God, you don't know. You don't understand how it's supposed to work. It's so funny. It's all good. He did Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
He's Chris on Family Guy.
Yeah.
And I guess he's also a big fan of NFTs.
Right.
And a couple weeks ago, he was complaining. I mean, I gotta find that. It is like possibly one of the funniest tweets. The guy, let me see if I got Seth Greene NFT stolen tweet. Dude, this guy, like, it is possibly one of the funniest tweets.
It's so weird.
Well, no, this guy's like, he tweets about how it was stolen. He brings up the guy's name, and this guy tweets back and goes, I got information that I could help you. And Seth Greene actually writes back to the guy and goes, like,
hello, friend.
Really? And the guy's like, no, I'm just kidding. I can't believe you responded. And it's like ratios. Like, the guy's got more likes. It's like the funniest thing. And then, so let me see if I posted it in my stories on my Instagram. I got like like an insane amount of views, like more views than normal, like 10,000 views or something on my Instagram story. I retweet, I put in my Instagram story, but my tweet was laughing my ass off. We truly live in the dumbest timeline.
Yeah.
From More Butter TV, Seth Greene's Bored Ape NFT, which was set to star in its own animated show, was stolen through a phishing scam. Greene no longer owns the commercial rights to the NFT, and thus the show cannot move forward. It'd be kind of funny, though, if the guy who stole it goes to another network.
Right. He goes to the CW.
Yeah. But like, imagine if like Matt Groening could not get the Simpsons made because his Bart Simpson NFT was taken by Chud4367. Like,
it's so crazy.
The Simpsons weren't going to go through because my Homer Simpson NFT was taken in a phishing scam.
It just seems like, okay, so like now because some rando stole the intellectual rights to a picture, Seth Greene is just going to abide by that. Like, it's, to me, this seems like
it's so stupid. Like
if Seth Greene said something at the same time I said it, and I said jinx, that Seth Greene would voluntarily not speak until I released him from.
Or if like someone moves into your house and says they own it now, get the fuck out of my house.
Like, just do it anyway, right? Like, just to keep.
Yeah, like change the eyes.
Did you save the GIF? Did you save?
It's not an ape now; it's a chimp. Like, who
do you have a screenshot of this? Like,
I no, I think it is possibly one of the funniest things, and it's so stupid. Yeah, why would you honor this? First of all, the guy's a thief. He stole your NFT. First of all, how do these things get stolen so easily? You see it all the time.
Yeah.
Why do people buy these dumb fucking things? They are the most, all I ever see, all the fucking time, are people like, my NFT was stolen. My entire wallet was taken. What the fuck are you using this shit for? It blows my mind. I'm like, why everyone, and every day you see another huge scam. And you're like, why do people, they're so desperate. They're either shooting up a school or they're falling for an NFT scam. Kids today are fucked, man. Like, you're falling for the worst pyramid schemes.
And it's
and you have actors. Frodo, a couple like last year, had all his NFTs stolen too.
Yeah.
What's his name again? I like that guy.
Elijah Wood.
Yeah, Elijah Wood.
He's awesome. Good.
I think Elijah Wood and Daniel Radcliffe should star in a movie where they play twins.
Oh yeah.
People would just believe that they were twins.
It's just so crazy to me that people are adhering to these fake rules.
Yeah, like,
you know, I mean, like, what?
By the decree of NFT, the NFT estate, I am the true owner of 8361, and therefore the pilot that you were going to get produced on TV may not.
And let me I have a theory too, that the people who were going to air Seth Greene's monkey picture show were probably more interested in Seth Greene's involvement than they were in the picture of the ape.
You really think so? Yeah, great. Because Darkwing should be able to be like knocking on their door and be like, "Hey, we can go through with the show, right?" And they're like, "What's an NFT?"
Darkwing 32. It's just like so. I don't know. I think you retweeted it and said like this, we live in the dumbest timeline. That's it. I mean, it's just so dumb.
Like, why do people fall for this shit? This is the stupidest thing ever. I got into a conversation with a guy and I was like, oh no. And of course it turned into like, you should get into NFTs. And I'm like, no. And he tried convincing me, and this is funny after they've already crashed and like the market's like pretty much, I don't know, petering at this point. Or whatever. He's like, no, man. This is the future, man. I'm like, people want physical art. Like, no. This is dumb. Stop. Go. I'm like, I'm not having this conversation. I'm sorry. I'm not having this conversation. But like this is so funny. Like I said, imagine like I kind of like what's this? There's always these kind of like funny moments sometimes on Family Guy where Chris and the dad get into a fight, but it's almost like Seth MacFarlane is making fun of Seth Greene.
Oh yeah.
Chris starts talking about Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
And Peter Griffin's like, "Oh yeah, what's the ratings on that? Your show on
yeah.
And he's like, "Oh Dad, it's been on for 10 seasons." He's like, "Oh okay." It's like, dude, they have to make fun of the NFT.
Yeah, it's
My
just
NFT was stolen, Dad. I'm like it sounds so pathetic. I love that guy's response. Like, I was just kidding. I can't believe you responded to this. Like, you were able to find my ape. Someone wrote and said that someone should just, that guy's a hero because whatever cartoon was going to come out was probably going to be a huge piece of shit anyway.
Yeah. Wow.
That person saved us from whatever garbage that I don't even get it. Like, wait, this is a real show or is it some like freaking web cartoon?
I don't understand. Like why you can just draw another picture of an ape, it'll still work. Like if the show is conceptually sound to begin with,
like gonna be like what was gonna be on it. Just the headline is just so fucking weird and funny. And you just see his face and you're just like, my God, this is so dumb. Like Seth Greene's NFT was stolen. Oh no.
The fact that it was him is like even funnier. Like I don't know why. Like I kind of like Seth Greene. I think he's funny.
Yeah, but he just seems like have an NFT stolen, and then
like if you told me,
I cannot believe that. Yeah, why do you have to abide by these rules? Like, can't you just draw another monkey? Like, why does it have to be an NFT? Why can't you just say, "Hey, this cartoon is in the style of these pieces of shits that people are for some reason buying and won't care about in 6 months." Why does this
seems like pretty easily fixed. If you had told me like, hey, some celebrity had their NFT stolen, they were going to make a show, now they can't, and you gave me like a dozen people to pick from and you said like, hey, who was it? Seth Greene would probably be on my list of people to guess. Like, yeah,
and the other Elijah Wood being second.
It would be like one of the Kardashians,
Turtle from Entourage. Just I don't even know his name. Turtle.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Herschel Walker's kid would be another one.
Like, Herschel Walker's kid definitely get a NFT stolen.
So like there'd be, I'd have a dozen good guesses, but once you revealed that it was Seth Greene, I'd be like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean,
that fits.
That tracks.
But again, I'm like, what kind of piece of shit? I mean, like, again, why can't you just make it?
Yeah.
Who cares? Sorry, I am the true owner of 8362.
Right.
That bullsack.
The CW gets a cease and desist.
Have you ever seen clips of that Bored Ape cartoon? That's
no.
Oh God, it's like some shitty, like, never heard of Newgrounds?
Yeah.
That Flash animated site.
Yeah.
Like that Pico's Adventure, which was basically a Columbine game.
God.
Yeah, well, Newgrounds, it looks like the worst Newgrounds cartoon. This Bored Ape cartoon, and it's crap, and people's like NFTs show up in it, and it's just trash. I'm like, is that what we missed out on from Seth Greene?
Yeah. The only NFTs I'd be interested in buying is if they had like a series of Homestar Runner NFTs. I think
I feel like NFTs are a scheme that the
strong
bad
in the cheat.
That's the funniest thing about it. He'd be like, oh, these stupid people and the cheat. I don't know. I forgot if he talked or not.
I think he made like a squeaking noise or something.
Yeah, I have the doll.
Oh, the doll?
Yeah, and you kick it across the room and it goes,
That's awesome.
It makes the noise. Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know. I think I still have it.
That would be, I could see Strong Bad and the Cheat coming up with a scheme to trick Homestar Runner.
Homestar would totally fall for it for a second, but
he would immediately fall for it, and he'd have to like go to the poop smith to figure out like.
But Homestar's so stupid that he wouldn't figure out how to get the wallet working anyway, and then Strong Bad would be like, "Oh, my NFTs weren't funged or whatever." Yeah, that was such a good show. I always love Homestar, the copy of Homestar.
Yeah, what was it? Home Sad
or something?
Yeah,
there's like
Homestar.
off-brand Homestar, and then there's like Steve. There's like the weirder elements of Flash cartoons. There's like Steve. Man, so good. Homestar. Yeah, anyway. I definitely we are living in a strong bad economy right now.
Yeah, I would say so for sure.
Steaming him in the cheek and all right. Well,
all right. So
on to
Bill Maher.
Oh God. Speaking of
the poop Smith.
So Bill Maher the other day came out. He had the stupidest thing where he came out about the abundance of trans kids and how there's more trans kids in like California than there are in like Idaho. Or something really stupid. So, and I don't know. Well, what I'd like to know what happened to him because he's like just regurgitates right-wing talking points now. I think, did they find a dead Russian hooker, or did he just fire his writing staff over the years and he realized like I don't really want to do any work if I just repeat like whatever is said on the Daily Wire.
Just read my Daily Wire newsletter in the morning.
Yeah, and that just gets me through the day. I don't have to do any more work. I just collect the paycheck, which I think HBO should really reevaluate their contract with him.
Yeah.
To me, that's a big bait and switch on the audience. Like all of a sudden, he has like just like become like. I mean, it's like he can claim his politics are still left leaning, and he'll be like, "Well, the left has changed, not me." But it's like your messaging is all right-wing talking points. I don't care what your positions are. You're not an ally. You are you're working on the other team.
Yeah.
It's like, come on. Tulsi did the same shit too. I believe in this. Who cares what you claim to believe in? Your actions speak louder than words. So he went on this bullshit thing about trans kids, and one is like really stupid. I guess he's talking about a state or states where they're trying to make trans kids non-existent.
Yeah,
that's one, and also population. A lot more people live in California than they do in Idaho.
Yeah.
Therefore, if you have a lot of people that live in a place, especially like in some cities, probably a bigger chance that you're going to have more of something than the other states going to have.
And part of it, to me, there's a known thing about the internet or whatever that it allows people to be more open about things that they've always felt. You know what I mean? Like you may be an adult dude that loves My Little Pony, but until you realize that there are other adult dudes that liked My Little Pony, you would have kept that shit to yourself. And then you get online and you're like, oh, there's a whole bunch of dudes that like My Little Pony. And then you dip your toe in the pony pool and maybe say, hey,
Pudgy Pie, wherever their names were.
Pinkie Pie is kind of funny, right? And then you get a couple likes, and the next thing you know, you're posting your Rainbow Dash fanfic and stuff, and you're happy. You're happier than you've ever been, even though you've always loved My Little Pony. You're just more open about it.
You can express yourself.
Yeah, right. You find a partner who will talk to you in the Applejack voice in bed and stuff, and you're like, you're whole. You feel whole. So people that's always been my theory, and it's not my personal theory. I think that's just like a truism. Is that are there more trans people now than there were 30 years ago?
It's like there are more gay people than there were now.
Yeah. Look,
there's people just not in the closet. That's
exactly. Yeah. That now they're more open about who they are, and they're probably happier and more complete people and whatever. And yeah, I mean, I guess it has increased if you think of it that way, but the numbers didn't truly increase, just the visibility did. And I don't understand why that's so hard to understand, or even just sort of assume or intuit,
I mean, again, he's just playing to the cheap seats at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, let me see if I can find this. Fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene came out and was like, yeah, go Bill Maher. All the Fox News people are now endorsing Bill Maher. So it's like, wow, Bill, congrats, man. Let me see if I can find Hold on, I got it right here. 1 second. Did I tell you the thing about that image at the crypto NFT conference? How they
the bathroom thing.
Bathrooms. They made the women's room also into a men's room because there's no women there.
No women there.
Joanna said this is one of the funniest things I've seen all day.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, I wrote everyone in the media that has taken a harsh political turn to the right over the past 2 years has had a dead Russian hooker found in their bed. I have no proof of this except for the fact that it just feels right.
It just feels right. Yes.
Just to quote that guy. What's his face? Oh, here we go. Bill Maher. If this spike in trans children is all biological, why is it regional? Yeah. Either Ohio is shaming them or California is creating them.
Right.
And I wrote, it's funny how Bill Maher became exactly like the Republicans he would make fun of 3 years ago.
It's bizarre.
It just goes to show, stop worshiping paid media personalities in the political sphere. They will turn on you in a literal dime.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, I wrote, some people will say Bill Maher was always like this. And I would say, no. He's always come off like a pompous jerk. That's true. And had some problematic views, like his Islamophobia. But now he's just regurgitating right-wing talking points that he would have always countered. Now he's fully embracing them. He would always be a reliable voice when it came to countering the right.
He was a devil's advocate often. Yeah.
Well, in some things, but mostly he would always counter the right. Like the right wing. He would go against whatever and call out their bullshit. And now he's fully embracing them. And it was saying like, well, the left is the one that's crazy.
I don't even understand his basic premise. Like, so here's do I understand you right, Bill? California, which legislates policies that make trans kids feel accepted, they're real visible. And Ohio that enacts policies that make trans kids hide, they're not visible. You know what I mean? Like, is it shocking that a Republican state would have kids that don't feel comfortable coming out as trans? I mean,
and then also population.
Well, and and a whole bunch of other things too. But
it's complete bullshit. It's like, and like I said, the Marjorie Green coming out and like saying like, "Oh, go Bill" or whatever. I'm like, wow, you really good job, Bill. Oh, speaking of, did you see John Mulaney had
Dave Chappelle
come out?
Yeah.
No one knew that. It was like a surprise thing, and he made a bunch of like anti-trans jokes, and all these people were like, what the fuck?
I heard there were like trans people in the audience that were like sandbagged. They're just like, what?
John Mulaney has always come off like a very like sort of progressive comedian.
Yeah.
It's like understood and all that. And then you bring out this fucking guy, and it's like, and I say to that is that comedians are fucking weird. Rich comedians protect each other in some weird ways.
Yeah.
They think that like if Dave Chappelle is threatened, they'll all be threatened or something like that. And I'd say that's bullshit. You still need to like police your own,
Yeah.
Call them out. Be like, you know what? Yeah, I don't agree with them on this. Sorry.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't agree with them on this. And I apologize to any of my fans because they didn't pay to see him. They paid to see you, John.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he comes out, he says a bunch of like anti-trans shit. And I'm like, you know what? Well, Chappelle sucks. Like people need to like, it's like, dude, this guy, it's not 2005 anymore. This guy doesn't exist anymore. And you know what? Go rewatch those shows.
They don't age super well. I'll tell you that.
But like, and it's not all him. There was a lot of people, there were a lot of good writers involved with that show. Maybe don't give the guy so much credit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I thought that was bullshit. But Tim Heidecker, this is really funny. Tim Heidecker, the guy from Tim and Eric.
Yeah.
He's really funny. He's going on tour and he wrote, I pledge no anti-trans weirdo surprise guest on my summer tour. As Michael Ian Black writes, saw him out, which is kind of funny. And then someone wrote, he's talking about comedians.
Yeah.
And you can see the ratio.
Yeah.
So bad. I feel bad for Michael Ian Black.
I like, but he's really funny. I like him.
Well, he brought up, Kids in the Hall came back. I don't know if you watched it all yet. Did you see anything?
I saw the first episode. I thought it was real solid. My brother said they get better too.
Yeah, I had to rewatch the third one, but that first one, but just with the whole brain candy thing, like, the garage salesman guy gets like $1. And they're like, brain candy finally turned a profit, and they like unbury them.
Yeah,
it looks good, but Michael Ian Black was tweeting saying like, maybe they'll work on getting the state back in some way.
I said that if they do, I would dip my balls in it, and I got like a lot of likes.
6.
I hope that they realize it was a reference to a sketch.
Not just that you want to dip your balls in it.
People are like, oh yes,
you do too. You mean
first My Little Pony and now this?
Yeah, the world is so embracing. I mean, like, I know what that joke is, but I feel like the state was the blip that the state has been around is such a short window.
It really is.
And like, I know they finally released the DVD like 15 years to come out on DVD. It was crazy. It was all because of the music. It was hard to watch. They had to redo all the music, and it's weird.
Well, I remember like they used to use Cannonball by the Breeders. That was
they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So it really affects the skits, because that was back in the day when MTV was like still a music channel. And they were dipping their toes in or dipping their balls in, into entertainment. And their whole thing was, okay, we'll do shows, but they have to have
a music element,
music in it. And they never had the rights to like, VHS or DVD.
Yeah.
That's why it took forever to get it on there. And it really affected the show. Cannonball had a lot to do with that skit.
Yeah, that was like a big, when I think of the state,
the pacing, the music really plays into it.
Yeah.
But that's a tough one. You say you make a proclamation on Twitter, you want to dip your balls in it. It's going to be a lot of people going to be like, what? That's a red flag.
Reported and blocked. Reported.
Citations. You got to start getting like that. What's that monkey gif where its head's turning?
Yeah, like from the Peruvian puppet show or whatever.
Yeah, he's just like, oh.
That's the best.
I should just do, if I ever find you like that, I should just tweet that back just to fuck with you. People like, I know what it is, but just to see if I get shit. Okay, so
last thing,
and I mean, again, it's just, I don't even know if there's really anything to say about Elon Musk at this point. I mean, I don't know if he's buying Twitter. I know he's still trying to get out of it, but he's just become a full-on right-wing chud.
Oh yeah,
he's completely stayed out of the Texas thing. I was looking and he didn't tweet anything about it because it has nothing to do with them. So I figured he'd have some shitty thing to say.
It is. It's weird. I did too. I thought like once he went political, he might like get a little more political in other areas, but that was always like kind of a feint.
Like weird tax on Bill Gates the other day, which was bizarre.
Yeah,
you're a billionaire asshole too. Like
he's so bizarre. But the thing that I wanted to bring up is that we have seen, and he's still like neck deep in that whole Twitter thing. He's not getting out of it. He seems like he's going to get hit with a fine of like $1 billion. It doesn't look like he's going to buy Twitter anymore.
Honestly, if I was him, I would just take the $1 billion fine and walk away because I mean, you don't want to buy it. Especially if it's like going, so the joke is that when he agreed to buy Twitter, the shares were worth $54.
Yep.
But thanks to him and a bunch of other things like stocks going down, but him constantly trashing it, it went down to like 30 or something like that, almost half of what it was worth.
Yeah.
But he was still contractually obligated to buy Twitter and to buy it at $54 a share, regardless of the fact that it was worth almost half of what.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny. In that case, I was like, yeah, please buy it.
He may still buy it. I mean, I'm with each passing day, I'm more skeptical, but one of the other things that kind of got lost in the shuffle or that people forgot about is that a while ago, Elon Musk made this big decision where he put a lot of Tesla's money into Bitcoin. And in the intervening month or two, Bitcoin's lost half its value.
It's worth now. Let me see. I'm going to check real quick. I always, because I know you're fully vested. You're going to the moon.
Yeah.
I only put in like $200 early last year.
Yeah.
Just to kind of see what it's like. Okay, it's worth now way less than what I put into it.
Oh yeah.
It is worth now $29,603. So it is worth it's worth less than half of what it was worth in its peak. Its peak was like what, 66,000 or something like that.
I don't know if it was that high, but it was close.
It did get pretty damn high.
Yeah.
It was definitely like, it was way in the 60,000s. And now and it's not, the thing is, like, I've seen it go down a lot and then go back up.
Yeah, it does bump up and down.
But it's consistently been down now for a while. Now, again, if you bought these back in the day for, I don't know, $10.
Yeah, pennies.
You're still sitting pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I like to think a lot of those people probably fucking cashed out a long time ago.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I do have a decent amount of cryptocurrency, certainly not a lot, you know, I mean, not like most people would. And I would say, and I just kind of looked a second ago, that I am probably about 20% down from what I put in. So like if I put in $100, I would have $80. Certainly nothing I want, but like, I don't know. I'm not like
solid investment in it.
Well, I'm not too stressed about it. A, because I don't have a ton of money in it. And B, because, and this isn't good news either, but my stocks are down by like a decent
stocks
amount.
are down too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my stocks are down.
Well, good. I was going to say that. Well, good news. My stocks are down as well.
So like, you know, is this a cryptocurrency problem or is this an economy problem? I don't know.
I think it's a collector's market problem because comic book stuff, like interest in some books have gone down. I love that. I like watching shows and they call it like price corrections. And I'm like, call it what it is. It was a big fad. Some people were able to cash out and now reality kicked back in. It's not a price correction. It's a fucking just reality kickback in. Like, yeah, some books will still have like tons of value and will always be worth like insane money. But the first appearance of Bartleby the bear really not that important as people like to make it think it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think like 99% of cryptocurrency is a scam. I also think things like Ethereum they're the future. Like they literally are. As far as like, well, like,
sorry, I just picture you with like space visor, and you're now wearing the
diamond hands,
and you're like, and you're folding them across, and you're like, and I hear do 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 do.
Well,
come on, everybody, and clap your hands, everybody, clap your hands, like the way they look and that, like keyboards and everything.
Lewis and Gilbert.
This is the future.
Because like if you purchase things online, then you probably are using some type of Ethereum. You know, like if you're swiping.
I mean, again, I think I'm just using money.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you use that as a tool to transfer it. Like the reason you can purchase a burrito from a streetcar vendor with your Visa debit card and the transaction shows up in your account immediately when you check your phone, that's because of the Ethereum blockchain. You know, I mean, it just is, you know, so like
I usually use cash though. So it's
cash
in my cash.
You would not be using it. But when you sign a document electronically, it's getting put on the blockchain. So there is a future for it.
Do you think it was a good idea for Elon Musk to put all their money in Bitcoin as the value of the company?
No. I mean, like for as liberal as I am, for as like progressive as I am politically, in my own finances, I'm pretty conservative, and I would never do that. God,
well, I feel like when you say conservative, we got to make it very clear. Conservative means like when you're dealing with money and stuff like that, you're making conservative choices, meaning like
I'm risk adverse.
Put it all in Doge.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it. It's not conservative. I'm risk adverse. Yeah.
Careful.
I'm risk adverse. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I think the word conservative's been like,
yeah,
because even when you say like, oh, I'm socially liberal, for conservative economic, people will be like,
oh no, I'm very liberal economically, like in a broad sense. I'm talking about like
that word conservative.
Yeah. No,
you gotta
be
careful. I'm just saying, like, because
macroeconomically, I'm very liberal economically. Like I want liberal economic policies.
You're not putting your money in NFL Super Pro comic books. Like
no,
I did.
No, I'm not. And like I would maybe if I had $100 to invest, I might invest 2 or 3 of those dollars in crypto, or 2 or 3 of those dollars in a comic book.
But you're not putting half your income into a coin to make a weird
I'm not buying an NFT and some scratch offs with my money.
You're not. I think the scratch offs would probably be
probably.
I just think, again, Seth Greene is gonna handle it like the funniest thing. I was gonna make a cartoon, but I can't because I made an NFT and it was stolen by Darkwing Duck. Darkwing 36 took it. Now I can't make it.
So crazy. Oh well.
It's super weird.
All right.
Yeah. So I thought Elon was a genius businessman. What?
He is not. Apparently, he is not. We were misled.
You're telling me that all that stuff about him being a genius is just like clever marketing?
It's perhaps a bit of hyperbole.
Do you remember hearing stories where they would be like, these guys always push all the time, like Elon worked in the factory and
right.
Like, even if he did, it's his fucking company. Who cares? Like, we're supposed to commend him on that?
Yeah,
like,
I always said
he's the one who's going to benefit the most.
People would tell me that, like back when I taught, they'd be like, I taught for a day at my daughter's school and it was fine. I was like, look, anybody can do anything for a day, right? Like Elon working on an assembly line for a day, big fucking deal. Go to work. Do it for a month, and then at the end of that month, get it in your head that you're going to do that every day for the next 30 years. Then let's talk about how great it was, because like fucking anybody can do anything for a day. Like it's the cumulative effect of doing something shitty for a long period of time and knowing that there's no escape from it. And
that one day that they're doing it is not the same. You're not experiencing the worst day.
Yeah.
Or even the second worst day. You're just experiencing what is being crafted to you for a day.
The best possible version. You're getting the Epcot version of Paris. All right. You're not getting the real version of Paris with like aggressively wino homeless people and dog shit everywhere. And you're not getting like the actual.
I had these friends who went to Paris, and the one girl told me like it was just like nonstop men hitting on her, like
I'll bet,
aggressively hitting her, and then there's like the whole city's just peppy with you.
Amanda and I went to Paris, my wife and I, and we loved it. I really, and I'll gladly go back to Paris and everything. The one thing I will say though is there's dog shit everywhere on the streets, on like these big glamour. There's just like
no one picks it up.
No one picks it up, and there's dogs everywhere, and there's shit everywhere, and even on like playgrounds where kids are playing, it's just like littered with shit. And probably like 80% of the population smokes. So those are my two things.
Seems like they're having a good time. They don't.
Yeah, their life expectancy is like 120, and they got free healthcare. So
dog shit everywhere.
That's the key.
Yeah.
What was that Woody Allen thing? Wasn't that Woody Allen thing Sleeper, where like in the future they discovered that like that people were actually allergic to cement or something like that had been killing us all these years?
Oh damn, I don't know. I don't think I remember that.
Was the movie Sleeper the one where he like woke up in the future? Was that? It had to have been. I think Sleeper.
I don't know. That must be a really old one, right?
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
Is that the one where he's being chased by the giant boob?
No, that's everything you wanted to know about sex but were afraid to ask.
Yeah, I always remember that as a kid. I would put on like HBO and I see him being chased by a giant breast, and I was like, probably shouldn't be watching this.
That's also the one where didn't he play like a sperm? And he
did. Yeah.
Waiting. Yeah.
Waiting to run in or something.
Yeah. That was a great one. And I just looked it up. It is Sleeper.
It's cool that we're talking about Woody Allen, who is a guy who has faced no issues over the years and has been squeaky clean. Nothing
uncancelable. That's what they call them in Hollywood.
Yeah. He's going out on a high mark.
Yeah, it sucks because I have no problem with Woody Allen or Bill Cosby getting canceled. Probably Bill Cosby more so than Woody Allen, but it sucks because like their 70s comedy was like a huge part of like me growing up and trying to figure out what was funny and what was not funny.
Before we get out of here, but do you think like how some people like they get very defensive about like people like that or people that they, even like Chappelle or anything like that?
Yeah.
Do you think they get super defensive about it because it almost says something about themselves? Like it's a good ego thing?
I think so. I mean, like that makes
like
sense.
If you can't separate the artist or musician from like it's like almost like an ego thing. Like,
yeah. Or they're afraid that it reveals something about them. Like I can say that I actually love Woody Allen movies. I mean, I like most of them, and some of them I like super, super love. If he never gets the opportunity to make another movie again because he's been canceled, I don't have any problem with that. And I feel
I think he'll be all right. He's like 90 years old. Actually.
Yeah. And I feel conflicted. Yeah, but I mean, like, but he do I feel conflicted about still enjoying those older movies? Like, of course, but like, I don't feel defensive about it because I don't feel like tipping my hand as to how I feel about stuff.
I think that it depends on the movie. If you're talking about Manhattan with what's her face is like 14 or something.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Manhattan. That wasn't Mia Farrow.
Is it Manhattan? No, which is the one he's dating like this really young woman in the beginning. And you find out she's like 16 or something.
Jeez, I don't remember. That could be Manhattan.
Is it Manhattan? No, it's not Manhattan. It's like that famous one.
Well, Hannah and Her Sisters was one.
No, Hannah and Her Sisters was the 80s. This one's like either late 70s, early 80s. Woody Allen movie where he dates a very young woman. I'd say like a teen.
Yeah, you're just like 500.
Yeah, it was Manhattan, 1979.
All right.
Marilia Hemingway. Yeah.
Oh, Meryl.
Allen stars a twice divorced 42-year-old comedy writer who dates a 17-year-old girl. Falls in love with his best friend, Diane Keaton, who was like 22 or something at the time. There's a documentary on HBO about Woody Allen and the kids. It's a fucked up documentary. It's what's the name of the woman that he was with for years?
He was with Mia Farrow, I think.
Yeah, she married like Joe DiMaggio or something weird too. What was it, Frank Sinatra?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. It's about her and the kids, and like supposedly he just did all kinds of fucked up things.
Yeah.
Like they talk about like his movies, and it's like he said it's like they said the psychological thing. Like they said it's like he's trying to condition his audience into be like saying like, yeah, it's okay for a 42-year-old man to date a 17-year-old girl.
I could see that. I mean, like he's clearly, obviously, like him being neurotic is like a big part of his shtick. I mean, like I don't know. I know this is an excuse. I don't mean to make it as an excuse. There's like a real thin line between like genius and like depravity. Like a lot of like really genius people are depraved in some way. Plenty aren't, but yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Back to your original question. Like, yeah, I think some people get real defensive about that. Because they feel like they're going to get
they
judged.
Make it part. It's like part of their identity.
Yeah,
in a way. Not to say that they all are a bunch of Woody Allens or whatever.
You hear people say like, well, we can't laugh about that anymore. We can't enjoy that anymore. And it's like, well, what about it did you enjoy? Like, when you watched Manhattan, were you into it for the inappropriate age difference? Was that like what you were enjoying? Because then maybe, that does reveal something about you.
Yeah, right. Right. That's the part that you're supposed to be like, yeah, that was weird.
Well, like Blazing Saddles is a good example.
Right?
Blazing Saddles is a good example because some people, I still like the movie Blazing Saddles. Like
it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen it in like decades.
It's fine. I mean, like I always, whenever I drive down to Dallas, I think of Gene Wilder because there's a sign that says Waco, and he was the Waco kid in that movie. But like most of the time when people defend Blazing Saddles, they just like that they could use racial slurs. Yeah, that's the part they miss. Like I miss movies where you could say that.
Oh, you can't make that today.
Yeah, okay. I mean, like, right, like I liked Blazing Saddles, and when someone says you can't make that today, I'm like, good. You know, I mean, like that was 50 years ago. It makes
no sense to make it today.
Yeah,
there's no market for it. There's no audience for it now. Like, why would they make it today? No one gives a fuck about westerns.
Right.
Like that's the biggest. That's the big key. No one gives a shit about westerns.
Well, yeah. So like, I think that's, I don't know, that's kind of where I go with that. Like, and I don't think there's as many people talking about Woody Allen movies as there are talking about Blazing Saddles. Seems to come up as an example a lot because
it's just because, like you said, it's the language. But if you watch the movie, I mean, they're making the whole plot is they're making fun of racists. They're not
they are. I mean, like that gets lost in the shuffle with the people defending it, I think.
Yeah, of course. They just like it that the N-word gets thrown around a lot.
They love it. Can't get enough of it.
The problem is people are too sensitive today.
Right. That and only one door.
And they have one door.
Fucking Norway.
That back door needs to be shut. So if the fire goes, all the kids will die anyway. Genius statement.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz.
All right.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, we'll see. When we come back next time, what will have aired? Will Obi-Wan? Yeah, Obi-Wan will have aired. Stranger Things.
Miss Marvel, I think, will also have aired the first episode.
Yeah. So
Obi-Wan's this Friday, 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
So we will have a lot to talk about pop culturally, and I'm sure there'll be news.
Yeah. Hopefully nothing bad. All right. Well, on that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that.
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT.